Thanks, Eric.
Welcome
Good.
back, Alex.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I had another browser open, but I'm all back, super excited to be here. And I'm going to get cracking and get going. Seen just a little market still fairly flat. We've had just a bit of a bid in the T-note. So we're going to be doing a lot of things tonight over the next 3 and a bit hours. And I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go through a very quick prep. I know Eric has been going through some prep, but we're going to be looking at some charts from Eric. He's going to be our chart man tonight. He has been with him for over 20 years. He mentors and coaches many of the senior traders, and tonight is very special. And the reason why tonight is so special, well, firstly, we actually don't have we're going to be streaming a lot of the live session from our new trading floor that we have built in Cyprus over the last year. We'll be going on to one of the trading floors throughout the night, where more of the junior traders are located. We just were able to hustle as quickly as possible. The team decided, listen, let's do a live election. And the reason why we decided to do a live election, because we posted a video around 3 years ago of an order flow execution delivered by one of our junior traders at the time, Bogdan, who also runs the asymmetrist.com. And a lot of the senior traders were watching and said, it just reminded me, that memory muscle of the order flow of the night, what to expect, what should be happening. And let's go quickly through this very fast election prep. And we'll be sharing spreadsheets throughout the night, positioning of where the traders are executing, which markets that they will be selecting. So it's going to be a high octane evening. And what's special about this one, now we're not going to, myself, Eric, Mike, Peter, we're not going to, we have to be listening to the news wires, and seeing what's happening in the markets, where the voting patterns are happening. But more importantly, the thing that can separate us from other live stream channels is actually what our traders are doing. So this is going to be the separation. So that's what we're going to be talking you throughout this evening, is the markets that are participating, why we're seeing this from a coaching and mental perspective. We have about 130 traders in action this evening. And the other part is that there is skin in the game. So as opposed to, there's the betting markets that we'll be looking at tonight, but the actual traders trading on the order flow, trading on the ladder. I want to bring up a ladder environment for you a little bit later on. So those of you who don't know, the price ladder is just a representation of the markets. And the other reason why we're doing this is we're always trying to capture information for our junior traders of the future to be able to plug in for the next election. We have some traders who have about a 5 election trading experience and cycle. And the most important thing, speaking on the floor with the traders on the first floor, that's on that side of the room. When I go outside, I don't know if Mike can give a view of the outdoor classroom, and you'll actually see there's another view. So that's of the traders, some of the junior traders on the second floor. So we'll be coming in and out on that session, speaking to them. But then there's also the outdoor classroom. So if you can see from the outdoor classroom, we'll try and switch that up if we do have that view. So just getting you a little bit of a feeling. There, you see me. That's me right there. We have an outdoor classroom that I'll hopefully be plugging into that arena. So it's just giving you a few views. Mike's in the headquarters in London HQ. Eric is in France. Eric flies over to the London office every so often, almost every 2 months to touch base with the top traders in our team. So stamina and ladder adaptation wins race. One of the conversations we had on the floor over the last couple of days, one of the senior traders who actually heads up the Cyprus trading floor was mentioning to the traders, especially the junior traders who have never traded in an election cycle before, said, there are the various phases of an election night, but it's having that stamina, because there are going to be opportunities, littered throughout the evening. And so having that stamina, having that versatility on the markets and the ladders will win the race. And I'll be going through that in a little bit more now. Managing the night, so important. Now, Eric is a veteran. Can you believe that when we were 20 years ago living in London, thinking that we'd be saying today we are veterans, combined maybe almost 50 years in the market, just between the two of us. So we've seen quite a bit. I mean, we've seen a generation of trading. I think there's probably in 20 years, there's usually about 3 generations of trading careers normally. I would say within that span, but within the night, there are effectively 5 phases of a night. There's that first reactionary phase when maybe the first swing county comes in, or the swing state, or an exit poll that drives the markets. What your critical, most important element you have to do in that moment is seeing. So you might say, these are the 5 markets I'm looking at tonight. In that moment when some news hits the wires that is going to create the first type of reactionary move, that's where you're going to see which markets are the most reactive. And so from
we're
there,
going to actually see, and sorry just to interrupt, because we are just at turn of the hour, and I think we're expected some first data. And the idea, sorry to interrupt, Alex, I think the idea is to see if traders are going to jump straight away on this midnight UK first kind of indication. And the idea also, as Alex mentioned, is to give and to take as much information as we can from which newswire is the fastest one, how market react to some beginning of results. Obviously, they are not definitive, but like I said in my introduction, here we are just to trade the surprising result that can move the market. And obviously, what we're going to look for in terms of technical and charts is to look if we have some market that move more or not. Again, it's early, it's first indication, it's not decisive, but it's critical. So I'm just waiting now to see if we get some new result. Sorry about that, but just every 30 minutes is going to be critical. We know there is more a result coming in at every 30 minutes and turn of the hour.
Absolutely, and just mention that, or those turn of the hours, turn of the half an hours. Have your little alarm. Remind yourself in that moment. Our traders will be plugged in, and what we have is a broad, just long and short of where where our traders are participating. Remember, there is a lag. There is a latency lag on here. So I think the latency lag could be between 30 seconds to 1 minute in this stream. So when you see potentially positions going through, that'll be the reason. We've had some just a little bit of dollar weakness, Bitcoin weakness. There's a couple of marks, but I'm only speaking about, and so that reaction phase. And Eric, please interrupt when you start seeing things coming through. But just to finish off over here, that first phase is your ability when you see some major news hitting the headline, which markets seem to be the most sensitive. So those, if you had 3 markets that you were looking at, say you were looking at the ES, the long bonds, ZB, and Bitcoin, and all of a sudden the ES isn't reacting. It's a little bit more choppy, but the long bonds are reacting well. Bitcoin or the peso is reacting well. And we'll speak about which markets the traders are looking at. Then you need to substitute out and say, I'm going to be focusing on those ones that provide the greatest sensitivity for the evening. So that's number 1. Number 2 is there's going to be the moment. I remember clearly in 2016 when results started coming in favoring Clinton, and we were trying to bid in the equity markets, and it was choppy sideways. So all of a sudden, the first bit of news comes on, stimulates the market, and then there's that potential noise phase and positioning phase as people are jockeying for position. Different people are getting information at at different times. So how are you trading around that? How are you organizing your stamina, your risk profile to trade? Then all of a sudden there becomes that early informative speculators where that trend can happen. That can happen about 2 hours in, as especially the swing states, the Rust Belt, as well as the Sunshine Belt starts coming in, so those important swing states. And once that starts happening, then you start getting that trend. And we'll be speaking about which markets that we will be focusing on and we will be looking at. And then you get the confirmation. who's won the election. Now, I know there are a few permutations here, and forgive me, those who are much more versed in the election dynamics of the night. But that confirmation, there's normally trades on that. One of our senior traders was speaking about, 4 o'clock London morning, the last election, there was a really clean ES move, but that was 4 hours into the evening. So how are you managing your night? How are you managing your time? And then there's the speech. Now, 2016, all of a sudden, we went limit down in the ES when everyone was like, scared in the equity markets of Trump. And went limit down. He came in, he spoke. People thought, oh, he's not too much of a potential, lunatic of how the media were portraying him. And then there was another move. So there's all these moments. So also, if you are trading this and you're trading it live during the evening, don't get yourself in a pickle. If you've lost a few trades, just keep it tight, and then there'll be something that that hits the wheelhouse that you understand. So how are you managing yourself? How are you managing that monkey mind that might be speaking on your shoulder when you've lost a few trades, and you're trying to find an understanding of the correlations, while you're also trying to work out at the same time which of your news sources are providing you the most reliable and timely news that the markets are reacting, and so that's critical and that's important. And then just to add on that, the important phase is, we're speaking about it on the floor here this morning in Cyprus, is at the beginning of the night you start with your broad funnel of where you're going to be looking at the different results. So we have a page up here, and I'll be going through a few elements, in a moment. But you're looking at multiple sources, whether it's CNN, all the different media news feeds, the different websites that are displaying the maps. The technology in the elections is moving so aggressively every 4 years. It's it's the most important day on planet Earth from a government election day. And so from that perspective, people invest a lot of time in technology. The New York Times have 100 people working on their needle. Now, they've had a strike, so whether that needle will be in play or not, we're not quite sure. But these are the important elements. So if you can organize your space, it becomes really important. That's what it comes down to: screen real estate. Okay, so your screen real estate, your ladders, so your price ladders. Those of you who don't know price ladders, just Google DOM price ladders. You'll understand what I mean. How you're organizing your dollar, your equity, your bonds, in order your peripheral vision is able to digest the news. Your auditory is able to hear the news of what's important. And one of the important aspects of the night with regards to the news wires is important to really plan and prep for tonight. Which counties are important? Which swing states are important? Which areas, if one of the candidates bite into the other ones, hardcore heavy red or heavy blue states, how are you going to be managing and trading and deciding which are the wires that are important? So from a news wise, we have traders who have the live maps, okay, on the various, Associated Press, FT, CNN, as well as live spreadsheets. There's a lot of people within the X space, so formerly Twitter, updating these live spreadsheets. If you've signed up to Axia Futures.com/elections, you'd be able to come in and I highly recommend, AxiaFutures.com/election. I'm going to be going through a couple of spreadsheets that will be updated dynamically real time. And on top of that, we will also be having and showing some live execution of our traders. We'll package that for next week for learning. We'll break down those trades for you next week, and how we do a debrief, because the power of your debrief, especially for junior traders, is how effective you debrief tonight. And so, if you sign up to axiafutures.com/election, you will be able to see how we go about debriefing a live ladder execution of one of our traders over the election, as well as betting platforms. So a lot of the traders have poly markets up in the UK: Betfair, Bet365, Kalshi. They all should converge. But we know in the betting markets, Donald Trump compared to the polls is a heavy favorite. I'm already seeing the betting markets, that spread is starting to close. For the first time, Donald Trump at 58.8%, Kamala Harris at 41.4%. So that's as that starts coming through. But your screen real estate, you've got to think about it deeply. This iteration of elections, is for us, why we do these streams is we want to have these archives for our traders of the future in 4 years' time. And that's in order to provide them with the map of the territory of how they can approach, one of the high octane events of a 4-year cycle. News dynamics: start wide. Start a wide net, then cast narrow. So what I mean by that is, if you're listening to CNN, Fox, so that's the auditory, you have the maps, you have the betting markets, so you have all of these loaded up in your various parts of your screen real estate. I would advise in this type of environment a minimum of 2 screens, ideally 4. Okay, especially for the US elections. And what you want to be doing in those moments is you'll start figuring out which ones are reliable, which ones the markets are reacting. Now, your chameleon eyes and your peripheral vision will become better. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is before I go through the spreadsheets, before I go through some of the swing states and the counties, I want to hand over to Eric now. And Eric is going to be speaking about the charts that matter for tonight, potential market selection or where the traders are looking at. But I'm super excited that you're joining us for this ride tonight. Just mention in the chat. I'll be looking at the YouTube chat in a moment. I'll bring that up. And I'm going to hand over to Eric, and I'll be here in the periphery. And then after Eric, I'm going to be going through some of the spreadsheets that you should have received in axiafutures.com/election. Okay, over to you, Eric.
Thanks, Alex. I just want to reiterate how important it is, actually, guys, just to summarize what Alex said. For me tonight, it's like having like a 10 CPI or a 10 NFP in a row, as much as obviously if we can get some surprise coming in. So this is why not only you're going to learn election and it's going to say, yeah, but what should I wait 4 years, to get the use of this experience? No, you're going to get that from the next macro data that you're going to face in the market. So it's not only an election night, it's just a trading night. It's like 10 CPI in a row, 10 NFP in a row. We start to see a bit of bigger movement. So how do you split the screen like that? It's kind of, for me, an easy way I'm a very visual, obviously, so it's something I like. And for me, it's just to see if any one of the market is driving other, is taking the lead, which one is muted. We start to see some a bit of weakness in the euro, which kind of goes, obviously, that if the dollar is strong, Trump is because obviously you should know in advance this type of relation from Trump winning, in a sense, of taking the lead, let's say, before winning, at least taking the lead, which means dollar strength, a treasury sell-off, which has been the case over the last 3 weeks. Like Alex mentioned, sorry guys, the idea is obviously to be prepped, to know the county, which one are very relevant. Like I said to every traders that have never faced this type of election before, I say, look, there is things you can prep for, there is things you don't know what's going to happen. So you have to be prepped also to see the price ladder, like Alex mentioned, and this is where the price ladder makes the difference, is to see all the way the price ladder is going to switch, the speed, the way the bid and offer are going to suddenly speed up. As we see now, it's still very muted, it's moving up and down, but there is no big move, So this is how you're going to spot the difference, and then you're going to hear a county that it's important, and then you might actually use the flow to take a decision. This is how fast you have to be in this type of market. And also obviously the execution skills, which is if the market does not react as fast as you can, as fast as you thought, you quickly go out. This is how intense it will require you to be, or sharp. You don't want to be like almost second thinking too much. asking question that you should have had the answer beforehand. All the prep is now done. It's finished. Almost like what you have to do. And again, then you rely on uncertainty where the information is going to
Hi,
come
Eric.
from.
I just want to just to let you know quickly. We've just got a few traders in some positions at the moment. Especially we got in the long bond ZP. We got in the micro bitcoins ZN. So short on the ZBs. Long
Yeah, it
ES,
seems
long
like it's turned
Bitcoin.
to be like a Trump a bit, like for me, it's looking like.
Yeah,
So I'm going to
a Trump
translate in a
trade.
sense Trump. It's not really, again, yeah, but I think it's easier for everyone to say, look, it's a Trump trade, it's a Harris trade. So yes, we start to see a synchronization over the treasuries weakness and euro weakness. You're right. We still see small size, but yeah, we start to see some trader involved.
Yeah.
Definitely
So this is the first time tonight. So what we spoke about earlier on. This is the first time. So I'm seeing the traders across the board in a so-called Trump trade at the moment, and executing in 6E, ZB, Bitcoin, UB, so the ultra long bond, the peso, so we're seeing the peso isn't as reactionary compared to guys who are in other markets at the moment. So that's maybe one of your first substitution markets, just from that observation. So it's just the first little trade. I'll be we're just looking going to be looking across the news feeds. The betting markets haven't moved that much, but a couple of traders are have entered a Trump trade again. Like Eric mentioned, not big size, but I just wanted to give
yeah.
you a little bit of a heads up. Pass it back over to Eric.
No, of course, thanks. No, that's brilliant. And this is what we see now. It's just again the way the market reacts. For example, equity is very muted right now. Like S&P is absolutely not moving at all. Obviously, Bitcoin is the one that we don't have feedback from 4 years ago because it was still, at least in terms of futures, very little. So now it's a new market. Obviously, it's almost like a big test. Enfin, not the first one because we still see Bitcoin moving in some example, but that's a big test also for the Bitcoin. Hasn't been moving, at least from what I see now. And gold, same thing. It was not on the main market. So just to summarize also in terms of market, yes, I'm going to say for once because maybe you don't know, but in terms of intraday, daily trading, and on prop firm like us, we don't necessarily trade FX or currencies, except obviously big event. And this one is actually one that a lot of traders came to me and say, yeah, I'm thinking a euro dollar could be, because also there is the effect on the euro and on the dollar. So it's kind of twice confirming in a sense the possible trend, which is again down from Trump perspective and up on the euro dollar if Harris gets some a surprising win in terms of counties and states. So, voilà. So again, this is what we see. You see right now. So we have the confirmation, in my opinion, from just the first. What do we have? Like 15 minutes, really. First confirmation. You see that the euro is not big. It's not big. It's 30 ticks, but it cannot give you some indications. So I would say if you don't have voilà, a euro dollar in front of you, but please do. It seems to be the one that has been reacting. We saw, so yes, UB, as Alex mentioned, and we saw so ZN. I'm looking at the 10-year, the 30-year. I'm going to look also, obviously, at what the traders have decided. So this is where you kind of make, again, the adjustment from what your prep was telling you, and from what you see from the market. What we are waiting for is really a review 4 years ago. Is really almost, again, this is where is the best opportunity. It's almost like a synchronized, timing wise, and you see all the market moving, again, acceleration, velocity, in the same or opposite direction, but at least reacting. You see, and you're going to see kind of waving, either on charts, either on ladders. This is when it's significant. Okay, as much as obviously as the informations come to you, you can say, yeah, I mean, I can obviously understand this country is very important. That's a surprise, and so on. But I'm thinking now,
Just Eric, just to let you know, so I mean, which I can imagine some participants have researchers have. One of the guys in the team just loaded at 7:05 p.m. Indiana, Kentucky have been called for Trump, and Vermont was called for Harris. So if you've been listening to news otherwise, these weren't very surprising calls. So the numbers haven't changed much because no states. So that was kind of Indiana and Kentucky called for Trump. Vermont was called for Harris. If you look, if I just show a very quick, and I'm just going to share my screen here. So just on the evening, and it's one of the traders in the team. And let me just share my screen over. Yep. Okay. So as you can see, I just hide that. Just zoom here. So we just received Kentucky, Vermont, Indiana, all in line with what was expected. So red for Trump, and Vermont. Those were the first ones. One of our traders prepared this. Where it gets really interesting on the night is, and again, I'll be speaking about this one once Eric, goes through charts and evening tactics, all the yellows, all the swing states, North Carolina, Georgia, and these are the times they're expected to be released. So those are the first ones that have been called at the moment, and that's where the traders reacted. So in your debrief, what are you going to do? You're going to write this down of that you get a market reaction, almost a smash and grab trade when that gets released in the first instance. Okay, so that's so-called, when the first states are called. So you write that down in your debrief. So you become wiser. I know it's a 4-year cycle, but if you enter this game for a reason, you enter this game to have a career. And so these elections, although you don't have many reps in them, and you're going to be trading it, and having a long career, these are moments that actually refine your art, refine your skill and your art. Okay, I'll hand it back over to Eric again. We're seeing some trades enter back
we
by
start
the
to see a
traders
bit
again.
Yeah, we definitely start to see some bigger positions, still in the same Trump direction. So more on the sell side in terms of euro dollar and still treasuries. Also starting to see some long in ES. And a bit.
Definitely what we're seeing here, Eric, is the bonds, right? The bonds seem to be holding those so far. Euro, what you said earlier on, Eric, as well. Euro, yen. Those seem to be the so-called sensitive market plays at the moment, and we're seeing some traders quite early on now getting back into a little bit more sizable big positions. Again, this is still measuring the pulse of the market.
Yeah, exactly. I like the idea of the pulse. This is definitely what we are looking for. But it seems pretty. First, also information is pretty consistent with what our prediction and our expectation were about market reaction based on a Trump Trump trade. So which is always good to know, because sometimes, again, there can be some fade, some choppy, some noise. So at the moment, it seems pretty consistent. As we see, some Trump seems to be leading in some states, and again, bonds pretty consistent. Now, I will be honest. There is always a sense in this type of execution where, obviously, as much as you are in the right direction, there is also a skill set in terms of scaling out. Because obviously results are going to coming in, and like we said, every 30 minutes. So for example, we have 7-8 minutes, probably with a bit less information, and that gives you a timeline when you can definitely take some, or at least hold your position, starting to scaling out until we get some new results, and that's where the guys are doing now.
And also the for people out there who might not have access or listening to all the news wires, just pulling up, the live betting markets, for example, Poly Market. Okay, so that spread has widened back out again in favor of Donald Trump. So you can see It's gone to 61.7%. And 30 and another tactic, Eric always mentions this to all of our traders on our career program, our traders on the floor, traders that come that are on our internal funding trial environment, traders are on our 6-month coaching program. Keeps on mentioning that skill of the ladder, the technical landscape. And remember, there are going to be smaller time frame setups plotted throughout the evenings where positioning starts accumulating, especially once we know. So another little tactic: once we know the results in favor of Trump win, that they're going to win, that they could potentially have a sweep, and we know the odds are now 95%.
More and more.
Well, then there will be some technical plays that happen later on the evening that you can just explore technically. Now, what's also fascinating about nights like tonight is that order flow is much more true, because a lot of the machines and the algorithms are switched off. A lot of the market making is switched off. So your order flow, so the purity of the ladder is significantly more. And those of it's fantastic to see the engagement on YouTube. Just first, let us know on YouTube where you what city you're from. If you're in the States, have you voted today? Just let us know what city that you're from. That's the first question. Second question: what markets are you trading? I might pull up some interactive board in my next session when I come back on. So we're seeing this Trump trade. So we're seeing some positions, in the market.
No, the market continue. I'm checking the ladder, Alex. It's still in the same rhythm. It's not like explosive, but it's consistent. And so yes. So the position at the moment seems to be again in a Trump side, and I do like the consistency. Now, is it going to stay again? I'm thinking about the next 5 minutes as again critical for this first 30 minutes of price action. Are we going to see another leg? So when I mean another leg is some continuation in the same momentum as new result coming in, or are we going to see a bit of a pullback, which in this type of obviously election can happen and can be expected. So I can see already some traders are slowly scaling out. Like I said, it's almost like a continuity of event after event that you are facing. I think we got like almost, let's call it the first event, which is the first result came in as a Trump trade. We saw pretty much consistency. I'm actually surprised about the gold. I think the traders were not expected to trade necessarily the gold tonight. It's been decent, like 60 ticks down, and also been pretty consistent. What I'm going to try to do is, like Alex said, as much as the market start to almost structure itself over the course of the next minute and hours, the idea is obviously to be able also to use the technical and some levels as a possible a shift of momentum. So what I do usually is I take some benchmark level based on, and let me just quickly drag my charts up. You see, so for example, I use some purple line. That's my midnight. So that's the beginning. I like to have this type, because obviously live when you watch the ladders, I'm sorry for you guys, but for me at least, it's sometimes difficult to remember what was the level, what was the key. So at least you get some, again, reference points, and so we can see again which one pull back more aggressively, to the level, which one actually widen from the level, and for example here we saw, as much as the euro was the first one of the one to react first, he actually start to wait, so it did consolidate in the area of the 109.00 for now, and you see treasury stay around its low. So again, I'm thinking that we are now 2 minutes, and sorry guys, obviously there is a bit of a difference with you in terms of a timing, And as a reminder, also we insist on that it's never trade recommendations. I'm thinking, and I think see, yes, some trader again slowly scaling out, but I think now, like I said, the idea is to be sharp and to be able to react quickly if we see a sudden reaction on the opposite side. Again, you don't want that's done. You want to take some of your profit and move on to the next one. So I'm just
And
checking.
just to
Bitcoin sorry, Bitcoin ES going same direction. Treasuries, euro dollar going same direction. Everything at the moment is in a sense fine. No surprise in terms of direction.
and that's if we can pull up the ladders quickly. So we just got we put together just a host of important ladders, simulated ladders. So I don't know if that can be, if the team can share those.
Yeah, we have it. We have them now.
Yeah,
We can see them now.
Okay, I wonder why I
I
can't
can
see
see
it
them.
on my screen. Can you see the ladders?
We can see the ladders. Yeah, it's stitchy.
Can you see my mouse?
Not.
I
Oh yes,
wonder what's
now we can
going.
see. Yeah, we can. Yeah, we saw your mouse crossing the screen.
Okay, let me just do that again. I just can't. I can't see it my side. All the glitches of the evening. So these are the markets. Okay, so ZT 2-year, ZF 5-year, ZN 10-year, ZB 30-year. You can see all, the longer bonds are hugging their lows. Then we have the ESNQ. So this is a ladder space that we think is probably the ideal setup for trading your Trump, your Harris trade tonight. Then we have 6M. Republican, so what we have just looking at, so Trump wins Indiana, Harris wins Vermont, Trump wins Kentucky. So all of that in line. If you think about it from a bigger perspective, we've actually cleared out yesterday's high in the ES, almost near the NASDAQ highs. The bonds, the treasuries are still inside their range yesterday. The 2 years are also there. So this is the peso. Okay, so 6M, the peso. Remember, that was a huge trade in 2016. Huge trade in 2016 when Trump was elected, when he was going to build the wall. And all of his tariffs. That's why you're going to get these relative value plays. Here's the 6E. What I'm going to do very quickly, I'm going to go through just before, because my schedule's time to finish. I'm just going to have a little a moment just sharing a couple of sheets. This is actually a little bit more action than I expected at this early part of the evening, Eric. So just to finish, we've got 6E here, 6J, yen. So again, if I mention traders in our team, if I look at a trader who's probably traded the most markets tonight, or one of the traders has traded 6J, Bitcoin. So 6J is a yen, Bitcoin, ES, Ethereum, micro Bitcoin, UB ultra long bond, and ZN. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have one or two traders trading the peso, but most traders focusing on the euro, the ZN. So this is the selection so far with the traders, and these are the ladders. Now, what I wanted to quickly go through with you, because all of this is taken off a little bit quicker than we anticipated from market moves, is showing you that the market and a lot of things can change. A lot of things can still change. So if you haven't, we have some traders who have done actually exceptionally well over the last 20 minutes. Some traders who haven't done as well, but that doesn't matter, because there's an entire night ahead. Okay, there's an entire evening ahead. Now, what I quickly wanted to show you is I'm going to share with you another screen. So let's go to the screen over here, and hopefully you'll be able to see my other screen. If you signed up to axiafutures.com/election, you should be able to get a little bit of the trades that we're looking at, for the night. This is a Trump victory equates. This is some of the markets. So this is all for you to have a look at, how you prepare, how you plan for the night ahead. We spoke about a whole, array of tactics. The swing states. the times that they are released. Okay, last time in 2020, who they were won by. Now the swing counties are going to be important. One of the swing counties that a lot of people are looking at that kind of predicts is Erie, Pennsylvania. So keep an eye on Erie, Pennsylvania. These are the swing counties. This is one of our traders on our desk, in Cyprus, prepared. These are additional swing counties. So when the newswire starts speaking about these swing counties, keep an eye. What are your trades? What are your tactics if you hear that? Now remember, the skill for tonight is your ability. It's one of the parts that we train in our 6-month blueprint coaching program. Those who are plugged in, and I've done a workshop on this, on your narrative cognition. The top traders perform well on a night like tonight is their ability to digest in a probabilistic perspective of how the shifting narrative moves throughout the evening. Okay. Now I remember on 2016 Trump night, the beginning part of the night went towards Clinton, and the markets reacted towards Clinton at the beginning part of the night. Okay, so you had the Clinton trade happening at the beginning of the night, and you had the Trump trade happening later. So will this be the opposite? I don't know. But just remember, you had that the last time round. Okay, so these are the swing counties, to keep an eye on. Again, those of you watching on YouTube, if you want access to this, just go to axiafutures.com/election. These are the some more swing counties. Just to keep an eye. So some of these swing counties in the swing states are going to be where our traders will be able to actually put on some trades, and sometimes they'll be maybe ahead of the flow and ahead of the news before the market starts reacting. Now, this is just this fantastic chart over here, and I'll pull this up. This is from project 538.com. Let me just see where this over here. Very important snakes. So these are the battleground states. Okay, Pennsylvania. If Trump takes Pennsylvania, well, that's pretty big. There's Wisconsin, Michigan. So this is, you expect the Democrats, a slight margin to win this. And these are the other battleground states. So, the darker the blue, the more Democrat, the darker the red, the more Trump and the Republicans. So it's a great visual. You're trying to create visual alchemy for yourself to be able to digest the information and knowing what's important, which dates are important. So if Harris grabs any of these, it starts becoming important. Okay, so really beautiful, strong visualization. This is at the 270, votes that, that are needed to win. So when we start releasing the key counties of these states, that's what's important. That's what you're going to keep your eye on. So, the timings. Okay, I showed you in this area over here, the timings of the night. So this is the level of preparation. This is what's called the so-called mirage. So sometimes when they release North Carolina or Georgia, usually depending on which, they release some of the ballots, the mail-ins, you normally get a blue mirage. So sometimes that's a fake out from a trade perspective. Okay, and the same for the red mirages in Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan, in Michigan, which direction those trades will be happening. So, and then don't forget about the House of Representatives. Just a link here, that you can click on just for you to get an understanding of which areas to watch during the night. But again, we've had some quick access now. Given how tonight's happening at the moment, I can tell you it's been a probably cleaner move than we've had at the beginning night of the election. It's going to get dirtier later on. And our traders will need to still manage themselves. The traders have started, the ones that have started well tonight on the front foot, there are going to be moments tonight. Okay, so we want to keep an eye out. You can see on Polymarket 63.3%. The gap has opened up with Kamala Harris. So yeah, Eric, anything else that you've seen?
No, I feel exactly the same as you. I'm a bit surprised by the consistency and the way the market is it's just like it's pretty straightforward, consistent. It's not like there is no speed, but it's consistent. We haven't seen much of a pullback. So I think again, the idea is until proven wrong, the traders are scaling out, but most of them are still on position, and they have actually had great performance so far. Now again, I'm not expecting this type of very steady, but at the moment it's a kind of situation where you have to say, look, it's moving like that. I could not preempt it. We couldn't really expect that, but in this type of market, and this is why I say this experience is not only for election, it's for every data. What do I do? What is the best execution, and right now it's just you hold until proven wrong. So what I've done, as much as when Alex was speaking, is to use again some technical, and sorry because I forgot to mention, this is just a 10-second chart. Obviously here we are not here to give you, and you can do some great Axia Future course for that, to analyze each candle of everything. It's not really the idea again is to see the synchronization, which market is moving or not the fastest. So it's a 10-second chart. I forgot to mention that. And yes, so the idea is also to spot some. This is why also I really recommend you use some kind of global hair, you see, which shows on each a chart at the same time where was the market. The idea for me is right now to draw a line when you can say, look, the market seems to have again a turnaround. So for example, you see it's only 10 seconds, so it's not like, again, obviously in terms of time frame, it doesn't look like it's significant, but for us it can be. You see this type of highs where the market, you see S&P now is retesting the 40s. We'll see if the market can find again in some way some pullback. 40s was also a yesterday high, so in terms of 60 minutes it's pretty decent. Now why you can, or maybe again, never a trade recommendation, but you might want to hold a bit more because the euro hasn't turned. You see, the treasuries hasn't turned. So this is a type of indication you can look for. You see the Bitcoin is still has kind of pullback a bit, but it's still very close to the high. So this is how you can use some voilà, very short time frame, a level and area, and just to spot, like Alex mentioned, at some point the market is going to be a bit more volatile and with less consistency. So we have to see if traders change the direction. But as of now, we haven't seen anyone fading. So fading means obviously going against the current momentum. It's much more management of the first direction, which was against the Trump trade, short euro dollar. So you mentioned, yes, 6J, 6M, 6E, and long, obviously, ES, MBT, not necessarily BTC. Some are on BTC, but some are also using MBT, obviously the micro, and just to manage much more, to have more room to manage the risk. And yes, so pretty decent performance.
Thank you. So
Pretty
Eric,
good.
so we just to let you know, so we have standing in now. I'm going to be going on to the floor. We're getting some feedback from Peter, who's staying on our senior trading floor. He's coming onto the junior trading floor. Eric's coming back in approximately, I think, an hour's time, if I'm right, around on the schedule. So we are switching in and out. So it's going to be myself and Peter for the next 30 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes. Actually, Eric will be back in about half an hour's time. For more charts to share, he'll be back with Mike in approximately half an hour. So I'm going to be going over to the floor. We're going to have Peter. He's going to give a report from what he's been hearing on the floor. We're going to be speaking with a couple of the junior traders, and we'll be going through some very important. And those of you who are signed, and Eric, thank you so much. A lot of lessons to be learned. Approaches, tactical elements. I wanted to add. We will certainly be showing. I'll probably be getting one of the junior traders who've traded this, done some KPNL for himself in this beginning part of the evening. He will probably show his trade Early next week, we'll be breaking down his trade. So he'll be recording his ladders. So if you sign up to axiafutures.com/election, you'll be getting a breakdown of how the traders traded this just first part of the election evening. Okay, and hopefully we'll be able to break down a little bit more often. So I'm going to go over to the other floor. So I'm going to walk across, and Eric will just be here with you 1 more minute until I get to the other side. Eric will just have some closing words, and then he'll be back in around half an hour's time.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. And yes, just to conclude and just to bounce back on Alex's words, guys, obviously we are very much allocated time, and it's essential. It's a big part of the job. You're always thinking, yeah, but look, it's only clicking. No, it's not only executions. We have time to prep, which we did. Now it's time to execute, obviously, to be sharp. And like Alex mentioned, later, obviously, will be time to debrief. And so you can obviously sign up and see the debrief, because the idea is, what did you learn, what you can use from next time. Otherwise it's just one like another one, which is not. So you want to, again, like for example right now, what was the best way, to hold positions. We talked about the S&P, was the only one to pull back, but then all of the neither of the market was doing the same. So, and you see suddenly you had a pop-up on the S&P. So voilà, this is the type of example when you can say, okay, maybe I did go out, maybe I should have checked this. Voilà. We're not perfect, but the idea is you gain the information of a debrief. Obviously, we can't really debrief now. It's not in the heart of the action that we have the best debrief. This is more about emotion speaking. So right now it's just we focus on trading, execution. The last 2 days we were focusing on prep, and obviously as much as later we will debrief, and this part of the learning will be shared with you guys if you sign up. So I would really, really recommend that. We didn't have that about 20 years ago, so you're lucky. You learn faster than had the chance to. All right. Think the guys are ready to now kick in, and I think it's Mike and.
Yeah, so if you can hear me, I think we're going to see. Hopefully, we've got a mic check on the floor there. So I'm just going to ask Peter if we can hear him. So we're doing all of this live, okay? So excuse if we have any technical glitches.
Oh,
right.
we start
Can
to
you
see
hear me?
again.
Is that all right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, we got it. All right, cool.
Cool.
Okay.
We start to see again another leg lower in terms of euro. And the euro is also one to watch. Definitely,
join
the
us.
FX market is the one to watch, guys. Now,
As
please
well.
keep an eye on the FX market, guys. And obviously, the treasuries are big market. It's not to be underestimated.
So obviously, a few things have happened already, but I just want to make sure that, well, basically, just kind of put to you guys what I've been hearing on floor one, where the traders are over there, and also put the information over to the grads here as well, and the junior traders. The main thing, as I'm sure you've probably already been aware of by the guys here, is of course the prep. So I'm going to kind of go over a lot of the things that were said before. Obviously, everything started kicking off. Just to basically reiterate how the night's going to go, and it is a marathon. It's not going to be a sprint. So the first thing to do, and one of the biggest things that we were hearing of, is knowing where to look and getting that kind of market selection right. Especially when it comes to the news feeds. Actually, couldn't get the switch the squawk off for me. Yeah. Sorry about that. So yeah, so looking at news feeds, like, looking if you're whether you're watching CNN, whether you're watching Fox News, have your plan as to what you're looking for, where you're looking for the information, all that kind of stuff. Something that was really pivotal is don't be too widely spread, especially so early on. You don't want to be missing that sort of bigger picture. In terms of the markets that, we're kind of floating around the room, we're looking at the euro, we're looking at peso, ZB, ZNs, ES. The thing with ES is something, obviously yet to see how it's going to kind of pan out throughout the evening. It could end up being, one of the best markets to trade, but it could also end up being a whole lot of nothing, a lot of choppiness throughout the night. And of course, we've got Bitcoin and more. The most important thing as well from this particular trader was to say, wait, don't rush, don't just fly straight into trades too early on. Of course, it's been a big build up, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have been preparing for this today, this week, and so on. Try and be kind of like more, rational with your trading decision making, because again, we've got a lot that's going to be happening throughout the day. When the info is coming in, that info is going to be coming in sporadically. It's going to be coming in a very dispersed manner as well. So again, to that execution point, hold, don't go all out from the beginning. You want to be thinking about how are the other traders, that trade in the markets, how are they taking on this information? Are they listening to the same or seeing the same resources that you're seeing? If not, give it a little bit of room. Don't just kind of rush into to come out of your position straight away. So yeah, it's just kind of keeping in mind a lot of these little things. Something that was really important that they're obviously looking at is poly markets, Betfair if you're in the UK, just to kind of see how the odds are all playing out. Look at the TVs. If you're watching CNN or if you're watching Fox News, if you've got access to Reuters and all that kind of stuff. It is a long slog, so it's going to be a long night, and stay in the right space, and not just in the market, stay in the right headspace. Again, to be mindful, you might be needing that second wind, you might need to stretch your legs, but obviously still be there in the vicinity in case anything does change. Don't obsess about the wrong thing either. So if you do take a trade early on, doesn't go your way in particular, don't fall into that headspace of, oh, I need to get that back, move on. There's going to be plenty of opportunities in the night. Be nimble, okay, with constraints, of course. Make sure you're looking at what the market is looking at. That was pretty much everything from this one trader, which was really important to see. Another trader that we're seeing as well, same sort of thing as to what they're looking at, because of course there's consensus on the floor. What could be a mistake is, of course, lots and lots of print, but the narrative shifts. So again, it goes back to that whole being nimble, kind of flowing with the information as it's coming in. Watch for the sweeps as well. So the sweep's going to be quite important, where we know where everything is going to basically be going from that point. And of course, we did have some talk about how was the market going to close prior to this, and of course, how is the day going to develop moving on from there. Now, so that was pretty much in a nutshell what we were kind of talking about before this all started. Obviously, we've seen some states come in, and we've seen some market reactions up until the point where I've come on this floor. Bonds and euro, from what I was seeing as well, was moving the most. When we were looking at FX and talking about FX before, we were talking about the peso, and of course the yen, but euro at the time was kind of leading the charge there, and of course the bonds. So that's it at the moment. That's the kind of prep stuff that we had beforehand. I'm going to be going back onto that floor to be seeing how the room is feeling, or hearing how the room is feeling, and coming back to give you guys an update, speak to Alex as well a bit more about that, and to these guys here. And yeah, we'll take it through. See you in the next point.
Okay, great. So that thanks, Peter. So he's going to move back across to the first floor whilst communicating with the junior traders what they're all doing. And just to let you know, those profile aficionados out there, market profile aficionados, pull up your profile. And effectively, what we've done is an opening print, almost an opening drive that we've just taken out the range of yesterday. So we're still within at least within the the ZN as well as the ZF. So the 10-year and the 5-year, we're still within yesterday's range. Okay, so we've just taken out the range from yesterday. Again, there's everything. So be very on your toes if all of a sudden you get some news coming from the wires, because this is kind of that elastic band effect. If all of a sudden you get some news from the wires where Harris is just stepping up. Okay, now if Trump keeps on opening some gap, now he's opened up a big gap. If you look at poly markets, he's now at 66.8% in favor of winning the election, but the night is still young. We still need to know, a lot of information that's coming ahead. So that's more, an opportunistic ladder, sweeping through yesterday's profile. Same also was actually, if you're a Bund trader, and the Bunds are going to be relating and being sensitive of the US Treasury market. We've got, we have the Nasdaq and the ES taking out the previous highs, but important. Be on your toes, be alert, be switched on, be forward thinking. Where am I looking at for a particular Harris gap closer, and how will the markets react on that? Okay, so we're seeing how the markets, which markets are sensitive. So if all of a sudden something comes out from one of those first swing counties, whether North Carolina, Georgia, when they come out, and anything in favor of Harris, any of those counties, you'll be looking at, go look at that spreadsheet of the areas that should be going. And I'll be forward projecting now of what does a Harris trade look like, and what type of information, what type of flows do I need to hear? Okay, so very important now. I'll just remind you, this is experience. 2016, it started with the Clinton trade. 2024, it's starting with the Trump trade. And then all of a sudden, things change quite aggressively. Okay, so no, it doesn't mean history repeats itself. Sometimes it has a similar rhyme, but maybe Trump just cleans up, and the betting markets were right all along, and the way the markets were trading were correct all along. But there is an asymmetrical. And that reminds me, those of you, and I'll actually, those of you who are here tonight, if I'm just sharing my screen, let me just share my screen for a moment. Okay, so let me know if you can see. It's the asymmetrist.com. We actually have our resident in-house Bogdan, who runs the Asymmetrist. He's in-house recording what's happening on the floor, the audio, so there'll be a write-up. So go and sign up to asymmetrist.com, enter your email address. You can read of how one of our traders trade the Japanese elections, the last FOMC. There will be a US election. So if you want to receive an email, we actually send out an email of the learning tactics, and then the blog, follows that. So he's now following the risk manager tonight, the risk screen, having conversations with traders on the floor. He writes, it's beautiful long form writing. So highly suggest that you go in and subscribe to asymmetrist.com for more election, a dispatches report from the ground. Okay, so that's from that side. So go have a look at that. So that's me for now. I'm passing it over to Eric, and so I just want to see if they're Eric and Mike, they taking over. I'm going to have a little bit. Well, actually, they're supposed to start in 4 more minutes, so I'll carry on waiting until they do come on. But we're still having some market moves. Traders trading across the screen. I will just flip out my sharing. So there's Eric, Mike. I don't know if Mike is available as well, and I'm going to pass, and I'll be back in the next hour, and I'll hand it over to you, the Chicago boy, all the way from
Chicago. Yeah.
yes. I just got confused there for a moment.
I thought you knew my hometown there for a sec.
Yeah, hand you over to Mike and Eric, who will take you into the next hour, and I'll see you back in an hour's time. Okay. Thanks
guys. So much, Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
All right. And yeah, don't forget, folks, go ahead and sign up to the asymmetrist.com. Highly recommend it. Really the best way to get an inside look at the most recent sort of trader journals and what they're going through. Obviously, it's difficult to get videos up, but writing about it is a different story. Great, Eric. So good to be with you here.
A quick update, I guess, from everyone who has been watching us for the last hour or so. Just to tell you the most important information, I guess, is that traders are almost flat. I can see still some position, but in terms of size, we are talking about, I would say 80, 85, except one trader who is still holding his position, but other traders have been out, and we are talking about probably 80 to 85% of the position now gone. So I would say first result, first move down. What did we learn? Pretty much very, very consistent. Like Alex mentioned, we can see still see a turnaround. Now, what, in my opinion, and that's only my opinion, but what you don't want to do is start to second guess. Surely the market is going to come back. Surely. You don't know how. You don't know when. This is where you can get in trouble. Okay, obviously, never underestimate this kind of rolling markets. Sometimes I call it the snowball effect. When as much as the market move in the same direction, it get bigger and bigger. Obviously, as a reminder, it's never a trade recommendation. It's only an educational stream. So yes, we learned that. Again, market has been pretty consistent, which is in a sense almost good to see. Now, again, my idea for me is just to say, if we have kind of Harris pullback, let's call it that way, or Trump actually continuations, or what will be the next stage in terms of a possible technical play. So this is why I gave myself, as Alex was speaking, again, I gave myself some kind of level, as you may see. For example, again, it's a 10 seconds. What I'm going to do also, just to let you know, is I'm probably going to move soon to a 1 minute chart, because we get the best of it right now in terms of this sequence. I'm just sorry, my a bit of slowdown. So you see the S&P is the one I retraced to 40. Like Alex mentioned, it's very important also, and check your 60-minute chart, your key level, as we are just heading actually to a new turn of the hour. So new result. So we're going to see if we see a new move. I put the pesos instead of the gold, by the way, on the left hand side, because felt right now, and also based on traders. So let's actually do live as the result.
Yeah, and
new position.
Sorry to interrupt you, Eric, there, but yeah,
Oh.
we are getting the results out of Pennsylvania here, with Trump ahead. And I'm just going to pull up the Axia Delta One newsreader for those that aren't aware. This is our proprietary newsreader here. So yeah, you can see here preliminary results on the Pennsylvania exit poll. Trump wins 58% of white male, while Harris wins 40%. So yeah, seeing a lot of Trump here. So again, that phase 2 sequencing, and I'll just jump in here real quick, and then I'll give it back to you, Eric.
No, go
but
ahead.
One of the main things that I wanted to bring in on the basis of preparation is knowing how to break up this whole thing into sequence, or into phase, if you will. So you can see here on the projected timeline, what Eric and Alex were kind of running us through was that initial phase 1, right? And that phase 1 did materialize that Trump trade, which is rates up, dollar up, and correlated currencies down. You saw on that trader positioning that a lot of our traders were getting heavy on those short bonds, rates up, as well as the short things like USD MXN using the 6M futures. So that's phase 1. And then Eric just told us that before this initial result that we just got, they all backed off because they're day traders, right? They're not going to position themselves for one binary view. They're going to kind of bite away at where they know they have that window of opportunity, which was phase 1. So I think that's a critical element to understand from a day trader's perspective, that again, we understand the macro, we understand how to read these results, but in real time, we're letting that breadth and that market flow give us those opportunities. We snatch them, and then we close out, or we keep it small and wait for that phase 2 to see if, like Alex said, is it going to be a sudden blue mirage or red mirage that then flips blue? And again, I can't speak for being a veteran like Alex and Eric. I've only seen really one other election. Started trading in 2019. But this has definitely been a critical kind of tactic that I believe is essential. So before I give it back to Eric here, I just want to say that we're going to be watching that New York Times poll, as well as any other info that we get from Twitter. I'll put up the Twitter deck that you should have all received in the prep, a series of handles on Twitter to follow. I've broken them up in a fashion by state, mainly focusing on those swing states that we keep talking about: Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, as you can see here in the highlight, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin is the operative word here.
Sorry, we're just getting a little bit of feedback here from another. I'm not sure where that came from there, folks. But anyway, all in all, right now we're in the midst of that phase 2, and keep an eye on those polls to see what the mirage looks like right now and what the market believes of that mirage. Obviously, with the dollar holding the highs. Eric, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just looking back actually, and like you said, so the guys have kind of scaled out, and we're waiting for the second phase of result. They jump back in as much as we saw some, again, Trump trade again. Now, the market is very interesting because it did not react exactly as the same kind of pace and a consistency. As you can see, if I just use my pen, so this is your second phase. We broke the low. You see euro not really doing it, bonds much more. Now we had a pullback just on previous low. You see this type of indication already kind of working. ES really almost failure to break, just a couple of ticks and then straight away down. So this is where you get a sign that market is getting a bit more choppy. It's not like the market it should have been like, if we follow the same momentum, it should have, in a sense, should have done that. So it seems
just to let you guys know that I think another move, although it was kind of predicted, but it happened, was the Trump winning Florida. Okay, so so I think that's quite a big. It wasn't a swing state, but the fact that it's now. And it's also one on the Senate. So that's really, Trump is, and the results are coming in, aggressively fast. So, and the betting markets have opened up. Trump's now at 70%. Okay.
Yeah, no, very obviously very interesting point actually. And let me drop also the. This is obviously something I keep an eye on. 70 when we started. When it was like 11 p.m. or midnight, it was 61%. Okay, between 60 to 61%. Now we're at 70%. So something obviously to keep an eye on. It's not only Trump is having some votes for him. It's also the tendency seems to be consistent. Again, market reaction slightly less consistent. Probably why also Alex also say that is because it was expected. So there has been some continuation, but a bit of a kind of setback from the market saying, "Oh, look, this is not like a swing state. This is just a confirmations rather than a big shift." So a bit more choppy. So just if I look back now. Traders are still actually on the same position. Again, they do believe, and this is what also makes sense for me, is just to say, look, as much as we haven't seen a proper reversal with a significant proven reversal, so technically, price ladder wise, we should see these lows in treasuries and in euro and being really like rejected properly. It's still, they are still happy to hold. And again, as I mentioned, as simple as it looks in terms of chart, in terms of 10 seconds, you can see here that the S&P was just respecting. Okay, you can see this level. So I think it's 37.5. So also that gives you a good benchmark. We were looking for this type of level, to start being created to say if there is any reversal. So in a sense, Harris kind of get something blue from the result. Maybe we should get this level out. And I'm pretty, again, it's never a recommendation, as you know, it's an educational stream, but I'm pretty convinced the trader will really at least go out of their long positions. Maybe reverse will depend actually not only on the price action, not on the order, but also on the news coming in. So it's an equation, it's news, technical, order flow. You need 3 elements and then you go for it. At the moment,
beautiful. Yeah, I mean, news order flow, that power is so important. I just wanted to kind of just update. So things are still kind of in line, but like North Carolina and Georgia, we're approaching that part of the evening. North Carolina, y'all from North Carolina,
Y'all.
or
There you go.
I remember when I first lived in the US as a young 20-something, a long time ago, now over 20 years ago. And I was working as a little ski bum in the Rocky Mountains in Colorado, and some people came to the ski shop, and they entered the ski shop, said, "Oh, y'all from Africa?" Because I was from South Africa, and it's the first time I came across that southern drawl. But anyway, it's the North Carolina, Georgia. Keep an eye out. Keep an eye out. Keep an eye out. That's keep an eye out. Bring up your little counties that are first. Now remember, there's going to be a few mirages on the first releases, but those are coming out now. Nevada and Arizona. Those ones are coming out later in the evening. Okay, Nevada and Arizona, so part of the Rust Belt. I mean, the Sunshine Belt. But North Carolina, Georgia, that could be the next kind of big explosiveness from a trading perspective. So have those two on your radar. Very, very, very important from a trading perspective, that if Harris is going to turn this around, it's going to be happening how we receive those results there. Okay.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that, Alex. And I also just want to say, folks, if you can see here, I've got a little tweet deck up for you. And these Twitter handles were included in the actual prep that we sent you. But essentially what we've got there on the top, you can see those are the letters. So this is just going to be those key states that we've just discussed from A. So Arizona is going to be there in that Sun Belt. And who these handles are basically, like amateur pollsters. Now with the technology and the ability that people have to get this information on their own, you have to be tuned into that sort of amateur reporting, right? So again, just from left to right, you've got the A's on the left here. There's about 5 handles there to keep an eye on. The C's, the 2 in the middle are going to be the more important ones, because that's where you've got Florida, Georgia, Indiana, which we've gotten Indiana, we've gotten Florida. So now it's kind of that Georgia discussion. The KLMNOP, the key one there is going to be Pennsylvania, of course, and Ohio. RTUVW, that's going to be your Wisconsin as the main up in the air state. And then just a little extra here with just handles that I'm picking up as I go along, because this is very dynamic, right? So if one of the first decks posts something from someone that I don't have, then I'll just go in and throw it in the extra. So if you want to take a screenshot of how I've done that, you can go ahead and do so at your leisure. Eric, if you
again, I'm just focusing on only and mostly on ladders and right now the level. So definitely for me, I kind of draw some critical, in a sense, a level as of now. This is what I think is critical on UB's 125.00 that coincide with this one. So for me here, it's just possible first pullback. Here is kind of coming back to the previous area here, which is equivalent to this one, which is equivalent to this one, which obviously in the opposite way around would be this one and this one in the Bitcoin. But for me, this is where if I have to see just a chart, I would say this is the type of structure when if you come back above this area. So never a recommendation, but just some level you see starting to create themselves and the market structure. So 108.71 on the euro. Let me check. 110.05 on the 10-year, 125.00 on the UB, and probably Bitcoin, I'm thinking 71,600 again, which seems to be, you see, very, very much a small consolidation, a range, that may show a bit of a more reversal. It's not the case yet. I'm not saying it's going to happen. This is the thing. But the market has, at least for now, in terms of new result coming in. Like we talked about, the first phase is down. Second phase, more choppy, but no reversal. And continuations, as you can see, very much like we did have the result at 1 a.m. You see in the euro, we back to the 1 a.m. Sorry, treasuries are back to the previous low here. So it seems to have, again, in the phase now, calm down. No reversal. I insist on that, and like I said, you don't want to say, look, surely at some point it's going to reverse, but this is where you're not in control, of your game. What we want is to stay in control. Okay, so for me, I will need more than just thinking, oh, surely at some point Harris is going to maybe win a county. That surprise, maybe, but who knows. Best is to wait. How do you know the confirmation? Obviously by the result, but also market reaction and breaking this type of level. So 37, 58, 37 on the S&P again, and we'll keep an eye on that. As much as in terms of positioning, what do we see? I would say, to be honest, I'm just taking fully. We are back to the 80% out, so kind of maybe 10% in. If I keep a ratio of positioning, voilà. Traders are thinking a bit like me, in a sense that thinking, okay, market is consolidating. Let's take obviously most of the position out and see. The idea in right now will be to say, if Trump continue to get some winning state like that, they might see some continuation. How do you know there might be some continuation? We need to take the new low in treasuries, take some new lows in euro, break the highs of 58.50 in the S&P and 72,000 in the Bitcoin. Or again, like I said, reversal play, but only if we get those first level out, and we'll see what happens. But we're a bit on a waiting mode, in my opinion, right now.
Yeah, and I'll just jump in there real fast while we've got charts up that I want to also mention with this discussion. So we are getting a report that the battleground state of Georgia is seeing a 43.6 estimated tally for Trump, while he has a 53 or 55 and Harris has 44. So essentially, like Eric just said, are we going to see a continuation on that downward trend on bonds and that upward trend on yields? And on that note, I do want to make an important point here, folks. For those that may not be as rates focused just yet, because you're getting into this type of business, make sure that you've got the 2s, 5s, 10s, and 30s yields, which for those that have seen the Trading View video I've put up, I've shared this chart for you all. You can utilize it now, or you can make it yourself. But it's absolutely critical here for the 10-year yield, the benchmark 10-year yield, to get through that 4.4 to really define this as a Trump sweep, right? Okay. So that puts us at right around 109.21.5. And for my options folks there was a lot of implied volatility sitting down there at 109.21.5 on the 10-year. So the liquidity is there. And it's a question of, does this market see that inflationary path forward? And is the Trump trade going to bring us there tonight, or is it something that we're going to see later on? And I think that's a key measure, is not just from the perspective of where we're at tonight, but from that long-term perspective that we've seen from really the beginning of October, as you can see, with yields pushing through those levels that they broke down through back when the Fed cut by 50 basis points. So I just wanted to make sure you guys were on top of that.
No, I totally share with you, and thanks for bringing that, because obviously I did some prep in larger big picture, and yes, I use the yields to get a sense of again where the market is really heading, because with the future contract and so on and the option expiry and the way we use contracts, sometimes it's difficult to get the big pictures. So yes, the yield is and obviously the yield is what's driving. Let's be honest. The bond market. So very important to keep an eye on that. So as Michael was speaking, obviously I was also watching the big pictures. So when I say big pictures, it's a kind of 60-minute chart just to see obviously where we at. And to be honest, we haven't like Michael mentions. You see, for example, this type of channel, we are just testing actually the low that we've done. I think it was on Friday, and so for me, what we've seen so far, as much as it's steady, is not like breaking like any type of high volatility event, at least at the moment. And we are just back to some key level, at least in treasuries. If you look at ES, I'm just going to show you quickly, but you see we are only in a sense back to a last week range. So it's almost like continuation of the positioning that has been happening so far in treasuries, like Michael mentioned, since 18th of October. But no drama. Okay, no drama. I will just check quickly the 6E. You see, as much as we did reject some level around 109.60, we are back to 108.60, 100 ticks, yes, but it's only back in a middle part of this range. Definitely, the market is kind of has still some room, under the feet, just to say, look, we are reacting. It's some beginning of something, but again, it can turn around pretty fast. And that will be for me the next, in the most like next step will be to take out some 60 minutes level, some key daily level, weekly level, and then you can start to say, okay, do you know what? The market is starting to really, really get on a Trump a win. We are not there yet. Okay, so important to really clarify that. It's now, I guess, and like I mentioned, I think the market is on pause at the moment.
Yeah, and I think so much. Sorry, go ahead, Alex.
Sorry, I just wanted to give a very quick feedback. Just looking, so some of the traders giving back, I don't know, 10, 15% of their P&L peaks. Some maybe around 20%, some a little bit less. And so now it's going into that little, we spoke about the phases of the night. Now it's going into a little bit that noisy phase as the first, troves of data coming. We've had a bounce. Eric drew some wonderful charts. He drew, nice little level and small time frame of I think it was the Bitcoin that then kind of breached that, back to the downside. So, always updating your charts. That's what Eric's always training our traders on. So having a look back at your charts, but now that the markets are bouncing, coming off their kind of extreme moves, bonds wise, we're still in yesterday's range. So still so much to play for. So really, I think the night starts picking up. Once we receive those, North Carolina, see what are the important swing counters. If I just bring this to your attention, and let me share my screen. So I'm going to bring this screen over here. So if we look back, okay, so on the swing counties, Georgia, we want to keep a close eye on Gwinnett. Okay, so how that market is, how that county is doing. And then North Carolina, Wake, Mecklenburg, Cambridge, there could potentially be trades off these. Okay, so just keep a close eye on those. I know Miami was taken handsomely by Trump, but keeping a close eye. Here's some more swing counties to keep a close on. But Georgia, Gwinnett County. So if you know what's been happening over there, if any of you are located in Gwinnett County, have a very close. That's where the markets could wake up again. So we've had the initial Trump trade. The odds have now come off the highs of 70%. So it's preceding that bounce that we've had in the markets. So keep a very close eye. Georgia. And so I'm just going to keep on reiterating. So you'll want to be filling up your tweet deck, like Mike showed you earlier on, with the people that you're following. So we're trying to help. We're trying to help how you navigate an election night and how you trade it. So now it's a reset. So you're resetting now, okay, for next phase. So that reset now, whatever has happened, whether you made P&L, whether you lost P&L, it's a reset because there's still a lot to play for this evening. Highly critical. So this is now. So how are traders on the floor resetting now? What are they doing? They're adjusting their, Eric Special, looking at the charts, constructing levels, seeing where we position, plugging into the narrative, what the news wires are saying. Reset yourself. Have a breath if you are trading live, and then look at what you're going to be looking at. Now you're going more macro. So you went, micro as the trends were happening, as the order flow was happening. You're in the ladder. Now you're going back again. And again, talking about that ladder, if you want to see, we'll be breaking. I think this first part of the evening of trading, it was so critical. And so we'll break this down for you next week. Again, if we highly recommend, if you want to learn election dynamics, election order flow trading, just sign up axiafutures.com/election, axiafutures.com/election, and you'll be able to also see us debrief those plans, as well as getting debrief those trades. So a bit of a quieter period now, and we've just shown you what we're looking at. We look at next, and again, it's this North Carolina, Georgia, Pennsylvania. That comes much later in the evening. Also, keeping an eye on Wisconsin and Michigan, Arizona. So Florida, Trump secured that. So let's see how the night goes. Those of you who are on YouTube and watching us, so Josh, you're Gwinnett County resident. So we got Josh on YouTube. He is in Gwinnett County. So Josh, let us know what's
Unbelievable.
happening.
Hi, Josh.
Well,
yeah. Let us know what's happening on the floor.
Give us the info. Give us the info. We want the info first.
Go do some polls for us. On the ground, some exit polls. So please, so just let me know. Those of you who are in the chat now, let me know if you are trading, which markets have you been trading so far? Whether you're on the sim or live, just let us know what markets you've been trading tonight. But Josh in Gwinnett County, keep us the least estimator has been trading NQ. La Tiger Rouge, P&L done on 6E. Yes, we've got a and why 6E? Because
that's
people
great to
are
see.
stressing in Europe about Trump. So we've got 6E and 6J by La Tiger. We've got Bodan and Spoos, Jala in NQ. We've got GS on UB and ES. So someone's trading the ultra long bond. Elliot Warwick trading the Euro and T note. So
I'm very impressed.
Anyone else you seeing there, Eric? What traders are trading?
6A.
Yeah.
Very impressive, actually. I'm really impressed by all of you guys. It's really good. All the
Hey,
symbols.
Corey, we recognize you. Don't worry.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
impressed.
I mean,
alumni.
Just saying that, Eric. Like that expression. Wow, it's to think. What was once the domain of physical brick and mortar trading on the DOM was only for prop traders. Now that with all the technology, cloud technology, the amount of development and seeing traders who are remote trading markets other than ES, which is ESA and crude, predominantly retail type products. You're seeing people trading UB, the Euro tonight, which has been a really good P&L trade on the desk, at the moment this evening. So really good, and for all of you who are trading, quite a big fan of the profile charts. Yeah, there's some really interesting. I'm really interested to see how the profiles and the treasury marks line up. I know the 2-year took out the lows, quite handsomely. I think we've got gold still in its range of yesterday. So you can see the bonds, like we said at the beginning, the bonds were going to be the important side on the Trump trade, but all to play for. Looking forward to the rest of the evening. And sorry, I'll hand it back to.
No, that's great. That's great. We need to. I'm really impressed and really pleased to see all the guys like are in a sense like in in my opinion, in the right market at the moment. No, just like you said, the market is a bit on a pause, and you can feel it over the price action. You can feel it on the ladder. It's been a bit more quiet over the last 10 minutes. So, like Alex mentioned, what do? It's very important to kind of have as much as you can, obviously, a process. I would like also to highlight that, because I don't think we did say, we don't have, and I think that's big, important, actually, a part of the day trader. We don't have any hope. We don't have any kind of preference in terms of politicals. You can have that, obviously, in terms of human being, but as a traders, we are much more looking like, um, the opportunity as it comes. And I insist on that, because sometimes you're gonna thinking, oh, come on, maybe you don't think Trump can win it all, or maybe Harris will reverse everything, or maybe Harris will actually win everything, or it's a mix of emotion and message in your head, and this is what became distraction. Okay, so this is why we show you tonight's stream, is just to show, well, you need to stay head down in market information, market feedback, execution on your side, from your prep. It has to be like that. After, you can um, obviously discuss with friends and family and anyone about what's going on, what happened, and so on. But this is very dedicated time. And insist on that, because I've done the mistake, and I think many do, which is just like suddenly deviate from an assumption, the feeling, something. Oh, maybe, surely, it's gonna, and suddenly you're just like, what I'm doing. And this job requires a lot of, and this is why I use the word discipline. I don't like to use too much this word, but it's part of it. You need to stay focused. Okay, now market is again a bit more quiet. We're actually just soon turning into new result, as we have the 30 minutes mid-hour result coming in.
Yeah,
And
and while
yeah.
that comes in, Eric, I do want to point something out, a little tactic for you all, okay? And I did mention this in a recent YouTube video, so some of you might be familiar, but what I've got here is my ladders, and as you can see, I've got them color coordinated. So in particular, in a moment like this, that we've just hit the top of the hour, going into what could be another phase, I've got a lot to look at, right? Alex said there's going to be 4 screens that are literally just tracking the polls. So it's very difficult sometimes to look at the standard, whether you're using TT, whether you're using Jigsaw or any other ladder platform. It's very difficult, I think, personally, to just track it based on the standard packaging. So I recommend that all of you get good at color coordinating. So you can see a little shout out to our friends at Financial Juice. You've got the Tick Strike Alpha there on the top, just for audio purposes, but you can see it's also showing in clear view what asset I'm looking at. So this particular ladder setup was set up specifically for this election. So in the middle here, I've got that USD MXN. I've got the 6J. So if those center points start moving in tandem, then I know that Euro, Pound, Aussie are going to either give me that flow that I want to see for direction, or they're going to be sticky because we're still in that sticky phase, right? Past the currencies here, you can see you've got your 2s, 5s, 10s, and 30s. And I know some of you are trading UB. That's fantastic. Just be careful out there for anybody that's ever traded that. It's quite the whipsaw. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that out for you. And also, folks, noting that going into not just this election, we've got the Fed on Thursday, right? So down here on the bottom, these little ladders, that's your SOFRAs, formerly known as the euro dollar. And now we use them as the SOFRAs, basically to track the 3-month durations. So just having that peripheral awareness outside of what everybody's looking at in a color coordinated fashion, if I start to see these little mini ladders down here flick lower, then I know that my periphery needs to focus on those bonds for a potential continuation through those lows and a continuation through the highs on those yields. All right, Eric, I'll give it back to you there. Just wanted to make sure I gave him
Michael.
a little.
Yeah, no, I was
yeah.
listening as much as I was looking for. Actually, just a quick first kind of impression. Again, I've been watching the market for more than 25 years is how actually we had one really like with Florida, one choppy trade, but how the market seems to be structured. Even, and I'm sorry, I have nothing to blame in terms of Bitcoin, but even the Bitcoins you see in 10-second charts respecting some level that we had before. So again, I'm not going to say, look, that was a good entry to buy or something like that. Again, I'm looking for information. We saw actually the S&P now trading higher with a spike up, and as much as the treasury are gonna looking maybe to challenge the low, and the euro is also getting back down after a pullback again. So we had some clear level of pullback validation, in my opinion. We talked about them. Now you know what it means. It means possible reversal. Now, as much as we haven't been breaking them, it seems like we are still in some way in a continuation, and we've seen some traders actually getting back in the same, again, long ES. Now, the only thing I would say is new, it's long GC. This is why I put the GC down here back, because I was wondering why maybe some traders are looking for. I think they're looking for actually long gold because it was the one that came back the fastest, in terms of the pullback. So it's also a sign of strength and weakness, when you have this type of a disparity of performance. This is sometimes you want to go with the one that is stronger, and that may be the case. ES rejecting straight away the highs, so a kind of same reaction as the Florida one we had. You see, just a one-off and straight back down. So it's we are now again in the second phase where it seems like the market has this initial reaction and straight back. So this is something also to be aware of. It's for me, it doesn't look like it's a continuation we had over the first 30 minutes as we started the stream. So yeah, just voilà, in a sense, just be careful. I'm just checking the
Yeah,
previous.
and I will note while you're discussing exactly that you're getting the initial reaction, but then it's sort of reverting. It's in line with the stream and the flow of news that we're getting right now, which is basically just battleground push and pull. It would seem.
Yeah, and by the way, I forgot to mention when Alex and you were speaking, what the guy do when it's more quiet. Like I said, they check the charts. Is anything significant change? No, they can maybe also obviously look at smaller time framing like I do, and they will also, and this is when we actually receive the most messages from trader, or at least I received them, and they were showing me, for example, the New York Times, so the needle, and it was still showing about very much a toss up. So it's kind of almost like, again, Alex mentioned the mirage things, which is early color, in a sense, like in that example, red. A color which is a bit too early, and could it be actually just a mirage and actually market turnaround? So traders are looking as of now to see if, again, some poll have changed, and I haven't checked actually, and I'm sorry for that. The poly market still showing 71.8% for Donald Trump. So poll are looking very still. The betting market is still looking very strong for Donald Trump. I think it would be good if you're looking for also reversal. It's always good to watch. Obviously, it's not to be underestimated if you think that, because it's very, very. I mean, the betting market is very structured. Okay, don't get me wrong. We're talking a lot of money in, so it's not like just random. Not at least in this type of amount of money. And we're talking billions involved, and we see it was 72. Now it's back to 71. So let's keep an eye on that. The 72 benchmark, maybe in terms of betting, is a good one. Almost like a chart, of a high done. So we'll see. S&P did react in a sense that he did reject $10 down. We are not yet around the 37, which for me stays as a key possible level. But something, the treasuries for the first time did not break down. Okay, did not break the new low. So again, something to put in perspective. And which one is it? Gold is actually the strongest, as we broke back above the 27.51. So keep an eye, maybe a couple of three traders long on gold right now. But again, we reduce the size, and even the most. And how do I know that? Because I know obviously very well all the traders, as I'm watching the risk every day, and I can tell you that some of the traders which are heavily always very busy in the market are actually flat. So that just shows you how guys are waiting, because it's not so often that I can say they are not on position, and Alex will know better than me also.
Yeah, probably our busiest trader is flat, and that's
yeah, which is like,
that's a sign right there.
Yeah. So I mean, talking about and we get up that positioning chart from if Mike could bring up the positioning chart, is so we still got some traders. We got one of our more senior traders still quite good size in the ZN and so the 10-year T note and the 6E. So that's the euro dollar. So these traders are still, people also have positions, littered across, but also kind of small size. And I wanted to bring up, so you can see there, from the philosopher, the engineer, dragon, so traders, and you can see just by, red is short, blue is long. So these are the positions that the traders participating. We have, as Eric mentioned, we have Donald Trump in the poly market at just under 72% now. We got on CNN. CNN are talking a lot. So if you bring up your CNN and if you have satellite, you want to get the satellite because the feed will be, significantly quicker than on the internet TV. So CNN, they're talking about Gwinnett County and the votes. Maybe Josh will be able to tell us what's happening in Gwinnett County. Both average Associated Press call time. I think these times are GMT time. So let me just share this screen with you. Let me share the screen, which will be the screen that I'll share is this one over here. You can see, so North Carolina, so this is all GMT time. So the average call is around 4:11 in the morning and 4:33 in the morning. So that's GMT time. So we still got some time. We still have some time for that. So it could still be a long moment. So this is where now you really want to be dialed in on a couple of the counties and the importance of those counties later in the night. But if all of a sudden Trump takes, and if we look over here, these, Georgia, North Carolina. I know in Georgia, I think they've said, so we've got Pennsylvania. I've just seen, so Pennsylvania, Kamala Harris. Georgia, Donald Trump's got 1.6 million votes. Kamala Harris has 1.2, 55%. But I think it's still early days. I just trying to remember if there's a mirage in Georgia, but we're still waiting on that. Next poll closes. Eric always talks about in the half an hour and the hour, in another 18 minutes. So still another 163 electoral votes at stake. So just quoting what I'm seeing on CNN at the moment. Harris has won Illinois. So if you look back here, Harris, Illinois, where do we have Illinois? There was predicted a blue. So everything's kind of coming in line at the moment. So still a lot to play for. But these betting markets, I mean, that's a wide spread, okay? But there is still Georgia, and I mentioned North Carolina. I'll just keep on harping about that. This is the phase now. Eric is saying, and I've been, Mike's been, this is the phase now that you're making sure that you're keeping yourself ahead, refreshed. There's still a lot to play for, on the evening. Now, what I would be doing from my debrief. So the next time I face the elections in 4 years, down the line, I'll be talking about that the spread, all my observations. I'll be writing down all my observations, so I'm wiser in 4 years' time. You're always, what you're doing today, you're awarding your skill set for the future. So how you go and map, how you remember this. Now, a lot of us are going to be, dead tomorrow. Now in Cyprus, it's going on 4 a.m. in the morning. In England, it's just 2 hours behind. US, your hours are a little bit better. But it's no doubt that an evening like this, they go so quickly. I actually traded the 2016 elections in Cape Town. We had a team out there, and I remember, 6 a.m. in the morning, and you still felt as fresh as a daisy, because when those ladders and the markets are moving, time is but it's just but a word, and very exciting. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait for next week when we break down some of the traders trading that first part of the night. Those videos, again, if you want to watch that, if you want to see us breaking down some of our, so just hold on one sec. I think he's run away quickly, or is he not run away? Come, Roy. So we've got a trader who's just been trading on the first floor. His name's Roy. He's traded. He's actually had an okay start to the night. Roy, do you want to get a feedback what you saw in the beginning part of the night?
Feedback beginning part of the night. We've been focused here a lot on the beginning of the night is finding out which products are most in play. So for me, S&P seems to be a bit choppy. It seems to be led by Bitcoin. What else? FX seems to be moving the cleanest. Bonds have been offered, but they've been quite hard to get on. They've been very rotational. What else?
Where have you made your money tonight?
All in FX and the yen and the euro. I've been short bonds a couple of times, but I've had no success. And then I've had to go at trading S&P, but it's also been quite difficult. I've also traded Bitcoin, but not much luck there either.
Quickly, what are you looking now going ahead?
In 18 minutes, we've got another, or like 15 minutes time, we've got another big drop of data coming out. It seems to be mostly down to Pennsylvania now, but let's see what happens. I'm going to run back in.
Okay, I'll see you a bit. Thank you.
Thanks, Roy. Brilliant. Well done, Alex.
Yes, so we just got, we might, maybe, and I'm sure he has, I'm sure he has recorded his screens. He's one of our junior traders, done, had a good start to tonight's session. He has to hold on to his P&L, but we'll try and break down his trade next week. So if you want to watch how we traded the beginning part of the night, axiafutures.com/election. That's where we will, if you sign up for that, you'll be able to grab that training lesson completely, from a trader who's been trading the election, and we'll walk through, just exactly what he said there. If you're on YouTube, let us know if you'd like to see us break down his trade, showing the ladder recording, and would like to go through it. He obviously came here for a moment. I grabbed him. He wasn't, sometimes my traders, when they say, "Oh, Alex, you're grabbing me for a live stream," they're all quite, they're quite secretive. They, spending, he ran back to his desk, so he was just having a quick little walk, saw me, had a little wave from our outdoor classroom. But if you'd like to see some, us break down some of those trades, axiafutures.com/elections, and you'll be able to see us break down. But he said some interesting things there, right? So the FX was the cleanest for him, although the bonds went, although he's just
hard to catch. Yeah.
Oh wait, sorry. I'll close out. I think
it was difficult to catch, from his word.
Yeah, so he's saying, so some of the senior traders were able to catch the bonds, but they probably have a little bit more stamina in
less hesitation, I would say,
in holding the trades.
less hesitation. So
yeah, holding the trades. It's quite funny. We also have Anis. So one of our traders who was in Cyprus, he had to unfortunately go to Morocco as one of our good young traders. So a shout out to Anis, who's on. Anis, say hi to us. Apparently he's on. He took a quick little photograph whilst Roy was he traded next to him. Took a little quick photograph. So that's fantastic. But again, you see, so there was the first time he walked away from his desk. That's like in 3 hours, just to have a quick little a quick little breather outside and resetting himself. So he's talking about Pennsylvania counties. Trump, Eric, he's moved to 75% on Polymarket.
Yes, but there is a but. As much as he is Trump moving up, we haven't seen any market reaction, like in terms of extension to what we saw on the first phase. Basically, the yes is back actually to the key possible 37 level. I don't think the traders are relying right now on the betting industry, let's say, to back up some new position. It's been also very quiet, like Roy did mention. I think they're waiting for new result now in 10 minutes. But again, it's not like, again, we talked about that when we introduced the live stream, guys. We said we're going to be adjusting from the channel of information we do believe the market is reacting on right now. I'm not saying we're not going to watch in 1 hour time the betting market. What I'm saying, it's just the betting market doesn't align with the market reaction. Okay, so that just for us important to acknowledge. And what also I want to mention, because I was just to finish on Roy. What I did like is obviously he's still very focused. I can see he knows what he's done. And what also, it's something again you're probably going to watch on the debrief next week if you sign up. But the run trips PNL, it makes sense. Usually when you start to overtrade, that means you try to chase something, or you got wrong, or something went wrong. And at the moment we see some pretty decent low number of run trips with decent PLN in front of it, which for me as a coach is a good sign of traders are very much in control of their game at the moment.
So just to the crucial battlegrounds of Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, CNN still too early to call. Okay, so much can change in the evening, and I know I've banged on this for the last hour. The only reason now, again, we're just trying to navigate this quiet period. We some of the markets are retracing a bit, but how you're navigating, so when the action, so the next heavy action is when we get any of those battleground states. Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, they say, too early to call. So when we get either a county, so, if you go on that spreadsheet, and again, let me bring this up for you. And I'm, this is, almost a little bit of a live, a live coaching session, is what we're going to be, sorry, when I bring this up over here, is the swing states, so the swing counties. So you want to, the North Carolina, those counties, or North Carolina, those counties, are there going to be trades? Now, I can certainly say that there will potentially be a trade on Erie.
Yeah, okay, Erie is a one.
Yeah. So keep, it's been going around now. Will there be a smash and grab trade? If you hear it too late, are you going to be buying or selling the low on that? So it could be a smash and grab. It could be, continue. We speak about smash and grabs on our 6-week career training program. That's actually just started. Our next one's in February of next year. And these are important. So how are you lining yourself up now, with regards to all of these swing counties in these so-called swing states? So this is, you're organizing your news, maybe on your tweet deck, like Michael mentioned. We are navigating now a lower volume, less trend type of conditions. We've had the Trump now, although Trump's odds are improving, the markets are now resting. Okay. And, the betting markets are, significantly more illiquid. Okay. So they can kind of go in a direction for a period of time. But we want to be keeping a very, very close eye now on those battlegrounds. So pull up your CNN, pull up your Fox News, pull up, those, then the website, the Associated Press. We mentioned on the prep plan. So if I find the prep plan here, so if you sign up for election, axiafutures.com/elections, you will see these websites that are important. Okay, these are the links. So you'll be able to receive that, and we can see over here. These are the ones that won. This is nice interactive map, live updates. Okay. Harris campaign buoyed by the college campus turnouts. So these are the ones we're waiting for now. North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Those are states. In Pennsylvania, what are the counties that we're looking at? Okay, we mentioned the area earlier on. Georgia, we know that Josh is in Gwinnett. Okay, what's happening over there? And then we've got Arizona, Nevada. That's much later. So we do have another 6 more minutes until the next bit of results are. So are you plugged in? Have you now breathed well? Are you in a state that in 6 minutes of what you're looking for, where you're going to receive that information, where your ladders are, where your charts are structured, how you're going to be approaching this in the next 6 minutes? Okay, so Georgia, North Carolina, those are the ones we will be keeping an eye on. And those battlegrounds, on CNN, they keep on having on that CNN, they keep on having breaking news, crucial battlegrounds of Georgia, North Carolina, PA, too early to call. And that is where you're going to have another momentum move. You're managing yourself over here.
And just to carry on that, Alex, is just about, I was looking at the market. I like this type of period when actually it's a bit of a pause, and you see almost like the betting market in 74% now, Donald Trump. The market, when I say the market, I mean the future market, is saying no, calm down, guys. We are not sure about that, and it's almost a positionings, between two asset class, and they kind of confront to each other, and usually, again, it's never like
the spread between futures and the betting market.
Yeah, it's not really a spread in itself, because it's but it's just about like almost this, and usually why it hands up is just like having some sparks, so at some point I'm expecting, and again we are expecting result in 3 minutes now. It's something that we might see either like the betting market shifting like quickly, or we're going to see the market almost like saying, like giving the right to the betting to say, look, you got it right in the first hand. And but I can see and you can see from the charts, the whole market have absolutely stopped their initial reaction. It's just like you see the US did broke 37 slightly. We are back here now, but you see the treasury. So now I change the color, just we get a same momentum, for the same level, sorry, in terms of timing. So this is now the yellow line, and you see they're all pretty much, except gold actually, which again it's clearly the strongest one of all of them, and I haven't changed the color here, but this is a yellow one. So voilà, all the market compared to the betting market, which seems to be backing, in a sense, a Trump win. Voilà, they are waiting. But now we almost have again some crucial structure, very horizontal, which is not, again, not too bad. a pretty give us some good level of interest, and now we are waiting, and I think that's where it gets really, really, really interesting, and how much we didn't have. All of this information is all from the market. Obviously, 3 hours ago when we started the stream, we were just like, we could only rely on what happened 4 years ago. We could only rely on intraday structure from yesterday, and so on and so on. Now we've got the last 2 hours market structure, which is very important for me to keep an eye, again, to use the time when we have less result coming in. And I'm starting to see actually some new position, which is the opposite of what we saw early on, which is blue. Now again, I'm blue and red. We're sorry for the choice of color. Doesn't mean Republican or Democrats. Long mean longs, blue mean longs, and red means short. Just in case you want to.
It's pretty nonetheless to look at.
Yeah, it looks like we are having the Republican
The polls
and
coming
Democrat
from
symbol, but no. So outside the joke, yeah, we start to see some guys maybe looking actually. It's a bit too early in my opinion, but let's say that the guys are looking maybe for the time to play the reversal in terms of risk reward. Never trade recommendation, always obviously learning, and we're going to wait for the next minute. And again, yeah, don't forget to register to see the
Yeah, just to we just have a question in the YouTube live, and put your questions out there, especially during this quiet period. Now that the floor isn't as active, we just have a few positions scattered across all the traders, between London and Cyprus, as well as our remote traders. Don't be shy to ask some questions. Now, with regards to, we have a question here by Luis Madeira. How good does this type of environment work with technicals? Now, I can say there's the different phases. Now, once we know the results, once we go into the speech, potentially, there'll be some positioning across markets, or some markets that weren't that reactive, that you'd expect it to be reactive, and some, okay, so we've got on the hour, preliminary results of Michigan exit poll. Wins with Trump wins 42%, Harris wins 56%. Results of so this is the Michigan exit poll. So just keeping an eye there if there are any little moves at the moment. Harris wins New York. We got a projected winner in Kansas for Trump. So none of the, Michigan being one of the swing states. So Trump projected winner in Kansas. So yeah, we just got some news dropping at the moment.
Yeah.
So keeping an eye.
And also, what is good with the price ladder, guys, if you discover the price ladder, is you see the market getting thinner. You see all the other disappear. That means there is some news coming in, just in case you forget to watch the clock. Sometimes it's just a reminder to say, look, why is it becoming so thin? And that's because we are waiting. And actually right now, we see some much thinner market depth in terms of bid and offer. And I haven't seen much position now in terms of new ones.
Yeah. So we haven't really had any kind of explosive positioning yet from the traders. But just with regards to answering that question is, once you have effectively the results and seeing which markets are have not been moving as predicted, that they would have accumulated the positioning. So important. So technicals can play a huge part, but later on in the evening. Okay, so and throughout, I mean, there's the order flow skills in relation to the news, as Eric mentioned on. You're still leaning on the technicals, but then later on, as the night and the predictability of the winner starts coming and becomes more concrete. As the winner becomes more concrete, technicality becomes more important, and you're shifting your technicals from from the larger to the smaller time frames. So again, Eric keeps on mentioning this all night. Keep on keep on looking at every half an hour. So Trump wins Wyoming, Trump wins Louisiana, Trump wins South Dakota. So you can see all of these have repopulated. So if you have that,
but no market reaction.
Yeah. So again, all kind of expected, in those directions, because we're still waiting on the big boys swing states, and yeah. So that,
and the trader is almost backing what you say from the beginning, which is a new article coming in, which says Trump trade continue to strengthen, but here is a reminder of 2020, obviously, which is again what happened in terms of a reversal, because also you have, obviously, if you know, I'm sure you have been all prepped for that, but the demography also of the US, which means that, again, I don't want to put any new political analysis, but from what we've seen in the past, in theory, obviously countryside and less populated cities, which count first, are more Trump, backing Trump, which has big city, which takes much longer, obviously, to count, are usually more on the blue side and on the Democratic side. So it's also kind of defer, you see, the voting kind of timing. So this is why also I think the market is a bit again on a waiting mode, despite all this red on the map that we are showing now. There are obviously very objective votes, but we also know that big cities are usually trendy on the Democratic side, and it takes much longer, obviously, to be counting. So something, obviously, I think that's kind of slowed down also the market reaction. As I'm now looking for the betting is still saying 71.5, 72%. So
and we have a couple of traders. We've had one senior trader has just held a core Trump trade position. He's reduced his size a little bit, especially in the 6E and ZN. But across the board, a few guys have just been holding their core positions as I look across the risk screen. And
but
again,
this is his style also. This is his style of trading. So basically, what I mean by style is a guy that when he's get conviction, again, until proven wrong, he has clear level of invalidations. Until that, he's going to carry on. Whereas some traders have scaling out type of strategy. If you want to learn all of that, obviously, don't hesitate to go on axiafutures.com, and we have plenty of courses on that. But this is again not surprise, so as much as the event is one-off, obviously every 4 years, there is still a style of trading behind every trader.
So those who are trading now, who are watching the markets, located in all your various locations, how are you all feeling at this moment? Again, are you feeling? I can imagine that like a professional sport is how you're managing your energy through the night. We've just had a few flutters on the price ladder. So just a few little flutters on the price ladder. We've got the long bonds back near the lows. Okay. So I think, again, after results come in on the hour, there's always a little bit of a market move. So I'm not quite sure. I'm just trying to see if I can see anything from the traders positioning. No one really getting, although the markets are moving, no one's really explored larger size at this stage. So it seems like the market's now coming back towards the betting back towards the betting markets, and just looking across at across the ladder space, the bonds, the equity markets, the dollar complex. Certainly that's where people are playing the Trump playing the Trump trade. Just looking at the chat. Hey Kevin, great to see you, Angela. You too, Stephen. Great to see the Axia community here with us. 3:00 in the morning, or 4:00 in the morning here in Cyprus, 2:00 in the morning in London. What time is it with you, Eric? Is it?
I'm just
3?
the guy in the middle. I'm 3. I'm 3 a.m.
So we're covering those 3 European time zones. So with regard, again, waiting for now. We've had a few reports that some of the states have had a few problems, and the reporting, could be a little bit slower. So that turns the evening, a little bit longer. But we've just got to be alert. I think now over the next hour and a half, 2 hours, energy levels can, go down a little bit. Being up, say, in this part of Europe, your clock's not used to these times, so your decision making can become, slower. So a couple of guys slept before they came to the office. If you're generally a late sleep, it's hard to sleep, before then. But how are they going to go start navigating potentially the most important part of the election night? Okay, we've got Ohio that they're reporting. I'm just looking in the various states now. So I think that. So if I look at the snake. So sorry, I'm just. If we look at Ohio, so there was, a Trump expected at least, 54% to 46%, according to Project 538.com. But going into this evening now, the next hour and a half, you've got to groom yourself. You have to maintain those energy levels. How are you building a stamina of 6 hours on the most important, election night, globally from a trading perspective? Why this night is the most important? Because all the asset classes, systemic influence. But how are you maintaining yourself through the 6 hours? So that initial beginning part of the night, then the little restful period. Now we're having, the bonds at their lows of the day. Eric, any interesting charts that you're looking at? In any interesting levels?
Yeah, I think the ES went back up and broke the 55, 56, 57. So it's not again very explosive, but it seems like we've been pretty consistent. You see do you remember the yellow line at 37? And we traded a bit below, a couple of dollars below, but we are back to the highs. Again, what was quite interesting is obviously the treasuries never broke, neither again the yellow line, neither the Bitcoin, and neither the euro. And now we start to see every market having again a possible new leg lower for the treasuries, new leg higher for the ES. Well, I need to be confirmed in a sense again, because previously we saw some spike up and straight back reversal. So I'm interested to see if the market can get almost to the first what was the first stage, which is a bit consistency. You see, we challenge again the new highs. We are at 58.60, so we need to check briefly the 60-minute charts. Yeah, we are still quite far from what I felt was the next level, which was 5,900. But definitely the market is again looking for the Trump trade at the moment, and in all asset class. And this is probably why we see a bit more again. And you felt it. If you watch the price ladder, you felt it. You just, suddenly it was just like all the ladders moves much faster. There's also a larger order on the ladder on the 5 years I'm watching now. There are 2,500 contracts.
So we just quick one. We just have, I think, from the Senate perspective, someone in Nebraska. The Nebraska Senate. So this is about, the other thing we need to know on the evening is how if Trump's going to have a sweep. So both
the down ballot,
or Harris. Sorry, Mike.
The down ballot.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what we waiting on, because the sweep is going to determine, much more aggressively. what I've asked Peter to come and join us. He's sitting on our experienced senior trading floor here in Cyprus. So I'm going to ask him to come across. So we'll wait for him in a moment when he comes across, just to come give what the guys on the floor are looking at. So just a report from ground zero. Because we are, obviously all of us are in our individual rooms and offices, so we're a little bit detached from the conversations from the floor. So we're going to bring him from the floor, see what the guys are saying, see what the guys are looking at. We see some trades, more sizable trades now, going across the board now, across the traders at the moment.
Yeah, while we wait for Peter, I was just going to point out what you said, Alex, about Senator Barrasso winning the or sorry, not that was Wyoming senator, but yeah, the Nebraska senator. Once that came out, you saw a lift in the dollar, and you're seeing those FX and bonds start to break again through those lows that we saw early in the evening.
Yeah, it was Donald
Thank you.
Bond.
Thanks.
Yeah, 51 to 41.
Mike. So I have Pete here. I'm just going to give him the headphones. He's just going to report what the guys are looking at in any conversations that's been going on. If it's been quiet on the floor, you can say it's been quiet. But you can just I'll just hand it over to you.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, it's been intense. It's been quite intense. There's a lot of moments of obviously quietness. Everyone's kind of like really in tune because one headphone's on to whatever they're listening to, their sources, and the other headphones are open. So there's a little bit of discussion happening in between. Over the last hour or so, there's been trended ground, from the early move. After a while, obviously everything got a little bit sideways, a little bit choppy, which was again that kind of thing, like what I was kind of saying basically before, was from the get-go, yeah, we might see some movement, but again, kind of be stable, kind of like pace everything out as all the information comes in. A lot of the moves at the beginning was happening through, aggressive sort of smash grab kind of moves. And then again, after that, it's been a bit grindy.
Peter, just anything. Sorry, just anything that the guys are looking at now going forward. Anything that you've heard from the floor on that perspective?
So obviously Pennsylvania is a big state that we've been talking about. It's been quiet. They've been waiting to see new movement, which was just happening just now, right? So there was a bit of movement that was happening now, so it was a bit quiet there. They did say to look out for the odds on the sweep, which is going to be quite important there.
So on that one, so if you have poly markets up or you're any betting, pull up the odds now. And I'll try and pull that up on the screen and share it in a moment. The odds of a sweep. So sweep meaning if they win the Senate. Okay.
Yeah. And if that does happen, of course, then we're going to be expecting a big movement there. And then just literally as I was getting up to come over, they were just sort of also talking about Bitcoin there as well. And was saying, if Trump does win, it feels like Bitcoin has just kind of been grinding away. And then suddenly, it could be right at the end. You could just get this huge kind of move as well.
Amazing.
So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Again, it's quite hard because everyone's kind of in their own sort of space and talking a little bit here and there.
That's more than enough.
Yeah, very intense.
Thank you, Peter.
No worries.
Thanks. So just mentioning a few things that the guys are looking at. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look and is go if you go on poly markets. So I'm going to let me see if I can show that for you live. So
well, in terms of positioning, we saw definitely another leg, guys, in terms of continuation on the Trump trade with the Treasury's confirmation, continuation. Let's say we talked about we need to break the new low to get a second leg, which it did. We also synchronize. I think ES was a good first one actually to kind of send the message. With if you watch obviously the charts, you will see the shape and the speed was much more aggressive when we had it was at in UK time 209. This is where we saw the market seems to end up. So that's quite interesting. And the guy have been able to capitalize on that. Again, reducing a bit position, but still we are well, there seems to be some continuation. As I said previously, we are adjusting to result continuously. I think now, I will be honest, if we got some Aris, if you're looking for explosive, let's say reversal, we definitely need to see some Aris surprise winning vote at some point. This is where I think we will get an increase of volatility. Right now, it's continuation after continuation. And maybe it's lacking again, in a sense, the explosive factor, because there is some, again, doubt about obviously, is it going to be a real sweep or not. So it's continuation now. And again, we said, from, is it going to be a spike and fade like we saw a couple of times? No, this time is much more structured. We broke 53, we came back to 53. Now we're trading 63 on the, I'm talking the ES. So Bitcoin also broke the highs at 72,000. We are now trading 72.5. So again, continuation at the moment on Trump. And again, it's not about wrong or right. It's just about market reaction based on results. We are not here to judge if the market should not or should react like that. It's just what we see.
Yeah. So just to show you, this is the Senate control after 24 election. You can see that's just moved down. Okay, we've had quite a sharp move now, and that's it's come down to a 4% chance of the Democrats winning. So potentially that when that Nebraska came out, I don't know what was expected over there, but obviously that shifted the market. If you're following Nate Silver put it in his chat. So I think Nate Silver is market moving. So he has a chat. So if you look up Nate Silver, he's written a whole bunch of books. I think he worked for Project. I think he worked originally for them. I'm not quite sure if he's still there, but he started his own thing, and he's put in a chat. So he is moving the market and getting the news important. So you can see over here just that sharp move that just happened, towards the downside. Okay, this so keeping an eye just on all your the poly markets. You can go back to the elections. We have over here 73% to 27%. If we go over here for Senate, there we go, 97. So you just click there. So it's polymarket.com/elections, presidency, Senate. So also keep a close eye. So this looking like at the moment, markets are going for the sweep. Okay, they're going for the clean sweep. So all very and how this is trading now. Again, we're still waiting for that, but it seems like the markets are really putting a bet. We've got the long bonds, the short bonds. Gold's approaching yesterday's high. Just keep an eye out on gold. It's approaching yesterday's high. We've got the Nasdaq, the ES. Remember what the guys mentioned about Bitcoin. So keep a close eye on the ladder on that side. But that is what's currently moving. Again, we've got another 9 minutes to the turn of the hour. Still waiting on. If we look across over here, we're still waiting on these two important parts. Okay, but now it seems like if the Senate, the market's reacting to the Senate. So Trump has certainly, the betting markets are on his side. The futures markets are on his side. For this part of the night, we've seen which asset classes are revealing. So can Harris disturb Trump in the so-called battleground states, which we still have not received? If I'm right in saying, we still have not received any final call on any of the battleground states. So still a lot to play for.
Yeah, exactly. Still a lot to play for. And again, so just to comment on the positioning, is back to smaller size. So you see how much we are talking again, event after event. Like you mentioned, Alex, is very important. Yeah, the Senate, I think the last move up, in case you're wondering, it was based on the Senate in Nebraska, seems to be a win for Republican, which is why, in a sense, we had this spike, this Trump trade, let's call it that way. And so, yeah, let's move on to the next one in next minutes.
I just wanted to share this with you. Okay, so at the beginning part of the night, right, according to the poll closing states. So if we go to Polymarket, okay, and we go to the if we go over here to the FT, okay, so far it's 177 to Kamala Harris 99. And I just wanted to, what we did on the election prep sheet, on the timings over here, on the release. So these are all the ones that have been expected, to be released, and which are the toss-up states. So what's votes leaning towards Trump, votes leaning towards Harris. And so I'm just trying to think where we are at the night. Are we closer to the 9 a.m.? So there was always going to be a spread at the beginning part of the night of Trump leading. Okay,
the mirage.
So there was always going to be a spread of Trump leading. Now the question is how wide is that spread to be? So if I shift this over here, we have the moment 177. What time? So at the moment, this is all Eastern time. Those are on YouTube. What time is it Eastern time now? So if you can let me know what time it is Eastern time now.
9:24, New York.
9:24. Okay, so we're in this area. Okay, so according to the predictions from last time, okay, or the prediction that you should have Trump at 202 and Harris at 148. Okay, so it's once we start approaching another 2 hours time, when you start seeing the Harris the Harris votes. So 202 to around 148. This is again in our prep sheet. 202 to 148. So yeah, it seems like Harris is, she's lagging. So it was expected. She was expected to lag at this time of the evening. Okay, just by how much? By how much is the important question. But we're seeing, I think, the Senate, what we receive from the Senate is what is now the markets are predicting and forward projecting for the rest of the evening. And if I look at the traders, some traders are still continuing where they left off at the beginning of the night. So all the majority of the traders are still just pushing in the direction of how they started the night. So a couple of traders have just got on this next leg that Eric Eric described. Again, if you want to see us breaking down some of our traders' live execution of tonight's elections, just go to axiafutures.com/elections. And those of you who want to, and I would highly recommend the writing. You will not get writing. You will not get a report from ground zero. There will be a report from ground zero from the asymmetrist. I call him the asymmetrist. His name is Bogdan, but I call him the asymmetrist from ground zero of how the traders as a group, what the risk manager, what stress he's under in the evening looking. He's been, Eric's also part of the risk team. He's one of the head risk managers. So a little bit at this moment, not as much hair pulling out his head at the moment, but important. Highly recommend for you to have a plug into the asymmetrist if you want to get an email of the night's event. So you can just use it, bookmark it, save it, add it to your debrief, so you can continue learning across your path. So those are the odds. Harris is far, far, far behind. Trump trade is prevailing. And but again, I'll say there's still potential to see what happens. And I think, though, on the Senate side, on the Senate side, maybe there's too much ground to make up, and the market is not trading a clean sweep.
Yes, no, again, that's I mean, I love this type of prep because realistically, this is exactly how you want to prep. And again, not only for election, but for any data, any type of looking back. Okay, this is the usual time we have the same analysis. If you follow us on, and if you have the chance, I would say to follow us on live trading floor when we do FOMC, ECB, we know minute by minute when there is going to be a key moment. So it's very much different when you're waiting for something to happen. Rather than just be really like sitting duck and not knowing when. So very important to, again, in your prep, thinking, okay, this is when we get the type of a significant vote. I was looking also at the NQ. Thanks, by the way, guys. I've been taking the time to read the feedback. Yeah, it's very impressive to see all the positive, and it means a lot, I think, for Alex, for me, for all the team who has been working so hard. I'm just taking 1 minute to thank everyone from Axia Futures, because that's a big that's a big deal for us to be live during so much hours, and bring you that. So yeah, I was looking at the NQ. Quite interesting. We broke some kind of let's say a weekly level over the last week or so, and at 20,400, I would think it kind of validates some technical double bottom structure. Maybe again, it's very much early to say, but maybe the market could target 2,600 just in terms of technical, obviously outside any result. I'm just talking technical, but it's always nice again to have this kind of first level target. I would say it's not big break. Again, we haven't broken new all-time highs in terms of NQ. It's still inside, again, level that we have seen, but we are getting close, and I'm just gonna close couple of
just to jump in real quick, I am seeing on the Delta One newsreader that Trump wins North Carolina, but I'm not seeing it on the polls yet. However, when that headline hit, we did finally see a continuation. You're seeing an acceleration through lows on the euro. You're seeing a acceleration through the bonds here. And yeah, just saying hello to Sereni out there in row, some old friends there.
And I'm just gonna bring back again very, very, very briefly again the chart of the NQ that I was talking about. Obviously, so that will be the type of structure you see. Very much kind of this is where we got the break at 400 to 300, sorry, and then we got up, sorry, 300. So the target is about 300 points if you take the side of this, which give you the VPOC of last week. So the VPOC is, for you guys who may not know, is the most volume traded over last week, which is in yellow, if I didn't erase with my pen, which is here. So you see, again, I'm not talking about like tick by tick a technical analysis, but it's always nice to have this type of 100 points, possible target. Obviously, I'm well aware also of the new all-time highs and so on, but just wanted to highlight that because I saw someone was talking about, and I'm sorry, I just forgot the name, but yeah, interesting structure in the Nasdaq in terms of continuation. Also, all of this level, as much as when they break, if you see an increase of volatility, velocity, they also can be used as invalidation for your long, or as a possible beginning of a reversal if we start to trade below. Okay, so this is kind of a two-way to use the same level. But yes, like Michael mentioned, we saw a new leg lower. So we are really back again.
Sorry to interrupt, Eric, but I just want to note everybody that we are seeing a Republican win another Senate seat here, which is could see a continuation here on that move, as you can see.
It's definitely, we see some continuation, still very slow, very much tick by tick, but we see continuation. We haven't seen any type of a reversal at the moment. Treasuries keep selling. A euro keep selling. Just sorry, I'm gonna get rid of the gold.
Yeah, and I think if we any of the battleground states, I mean, there's obviously, like within two possibilities, but from a Trump perspective, I think the Trump odds are just going in his favor. Just what Mike mentioned there about the Senate. As the Senate announcements start coming in, the odds are moving. I imagine on the Senate now, and the futures markets are moving on the Senate. So Trump just under 80% now on poly markets. Traders have their position, so there's been maybe another increase of around 25% in P&L now over the last I don't know, over the last 15 minutes. And so more broad positionings that you can see. Mike just pulled out the positioning tool. So on that side now, with those battleground states, don't know if any counties have come across yet, so any key counties, but if any, the first battleground states, whoever it goes to, if it goes to Trump, there'll probably be a flush move. So a potential flush move, an accelerator move. If there's a Harris one of a battleground, then there will probably be a strong profit taking. Doesn't necessarily mean that she will now win the election, but that's where there's probably this, it's your ability to measure the little sensitivity point that we're at now. So if Trump, so we know, so the Senate now has potentially pushed this next move. I stand to be corrected. I'm not on the floor, so my ears aren't everywhere. We're here on the live stream. We got Gwinnett County now that Harris is leading. Okay, so Gwinnett County, that important county where Josh is hanging on. But Trump overall in Georgia is leading. Okay, so I don't know how many votes are left over there. So we've got. So I'm just keeping an eye on CNN to the right on the screen. But the battleground that gets called, that's in Trump, probably flush. Or if it's a Harris, there'll be probably, there could be an aggressive profit taking. So don't be alert to any little aggressive anti move, because we haven't really had any. And so if that does happen, just be alert to it. Okay.
I want to answer a quick question here in the chat from Zybes in regards to CL. And yeah, of course, oil is going to be affected by all of this. But what a lot of people are missing here is that you actually want to be watching the sector allocation of oil, which is still open here in the post market. So if you look at those sector allocations, particularly energy, financials, and REITs, all of those have ripped in favor of Trump. So going into tomorrow's open on oil, if that trend continues, then perhaps we might see some clarity there. Just wanted to answer that question for you, Zybes.
Yeah, and also just to add on that, it's not that oil is not going to move. It's just that there are, in a sense, better market that will be closer to the result in terms of impact. So it's not about like being good market or bad market. Is much more about which one will be more affected, and oil does not come up, at least on the night of the election, as a primary market in terms of ranking. But it will be probably a market to look in the next days or so. But as a minute per minute, unfortunately, we are. I don't know if it's unfortunate, but we are human, and at some point, they're already traded. If I'm looking now, some guys are on 6G6M, BTC, ES, ETH, MBT, UB, ZB, ZN, and I'm just talking about one trader. So you can add CL, but at some point, again, you want to optimize what you are looking for and what you are trading.
And of course, if something were to come out in regards to geopolitics, you could very easily see that light up on the screen. It's very much related to the theme. And right now, oil is just not the center point for this theme.
No. So good change of P&L in terms of good change. Yeah, like Alex mentioned, we saw a new leg, not a new leg, but a new profit, let's say, coming from this Senate, which create again another continuation up. We see the NQ trading 2,500 now. We talked about 600 in terms of possible. Again, technical target. I want to show you also the Bitcoin, which is now heading to some possible. Just to show you, this is a cash market, which sometimes I like to kind of use rather than the
Better sentiment,
BTX4. Yeah, so you see we are back here, which is very good point here for me, because it's about just the market is positioning again ahead of key states. So we are a bit on a break or reverse kind of a moment, which again it kind of makes sense for the market to be here. If Harris comes out, you would probably see a reverse of comes out. If she start winning some key swing states, or obviously as Trump wins some swing states, then the continuation might be going on. And again, if I get some other charts, I was looking at maybe euro dollar cash market. So you see we approach some support. So this is a weekly chart. So this is pretty much like you see 2023 highs, 2024 highs, 20. So I did that obviously before we started the stream, but well, you get the sense that we are trading now. Couple of weeks ago we were sitting down here. So same thing, a bit of a break or reversal position. So in terms of target, in my sense, we are very close to some key structure, okay, that either get rejected, either we see breakout. And again, it kind of align with the key moment we are expected to key moment. It's already very good actually right now, but even more maybe a key moment in terms of polls and result. Again, you see the structure very, very much continuations. You can see the Bitcoin is actually, and that was really the one for me. I was a big question mark, and I knew the guys were really much to it in saying that it could be a good market. Good. It's not good or bad, but it could move in the direction we expect. Okay, so kind of not choppy and so on, and it's been pretty decent in my opinion. So again, like Alex mentioned, and like everyone is mentioning, I think the idea is just like, are we going to unwind or not what the market has been created over the last now 40 minutes. Again, keep an eye on this 37. Now we are a bit far off. We are $40 of it, but still for me in terms of critical area, that's interesting. And yes, you see how far we are from the yellow line. I just want to show you very, very briefly, and then I'm gonna probably take a bit of a break, which was the US election comparison in 2020. And again, just to take with caution, because obviously that was very much not the same context and so on. But you see, I use the same kind of concept, so which was the 2 a.m. here line, and the way the market kept moving between 240 you see and 315. So at the time the S&P was trading 3,330. I know it sounds a bit weird to say that, but yeah, we move 100 points. At the time it was 3%. So the market is still capable of moving from the 2 a.m. you see benchmark. So something to look for still to come. But again, you see the market reacting around just horizontal level like that. You see that's a 1 minute charts. All of them are 1 minute charts. So that's how I look back at 2020 election and how we can have the kind of similarity. Are we going to keep like this line and very much trade above in ES, Bitcoin, and below in treasuries? Or is the market going to be able to cross back those levels? Is to be seen. But at the moment, again, the guys are just almost like holding on until proving wrong. I think that's the sentence of the first 2 hours is holding until proving wrong.
Absolutely, and I just wanted, those of you, because we're actually, I don't know if we'll make it because our stream's meant to be ending in around 18 minutes. We'll see what energy we have left from our side, because we just want to get back onto the floors, just communicating with the traders. I've had an absolute blast on this. In this session. But we're not quite sure when those swing states will come. So you might need to navigate that. And then if you signed up to axiafutures.com/election, you'll be able to see how, we'll break down any trades of the actual swing state announcements. But just wanted to ask you, everyone who's on YouTube, in the chat room, if we do get a Trump sweep and Trump winning the election, who do you think is going to be an important person that Trump will have in his team that could move markets? So I just want to throw that question out there. Who do you think is going to be an important person in Trump's team that will move markets when he speaks? Okay, so who do you think? So, okay.
Richard Bailey.
I think Richard will be a great advisor for Donald Trump. I think he will advise him.
Can we get a screenshot of that one?
Yeah, across the markets. So yeah, absolutely. With regards to Elon Musk, now, I mean, why Trump made trading great again back, okay, it's no political allegiance, but why traders loved Trump in 2016 to 2020 is because of how unpredictable he was in his tweets. Now X, in his posts. And that unpredictability brings volatility and it brings opportunities for traders. Now, we've seen the hometown South African boy, Elon Musk. I had to throw that out there. Elon Musk getting on stage, and he's going to be part of the government efficiency program. So having Elon Musk on your X platform, listening to him every time he speaks, what he'll deregulate. I wonder what Tesla will be doing tomorrow on the open. I wonder what, certain stocks. So he is going to be potentially huge. His very first time that he speaks, Elon Musk will probably be like Jerome Powell for the markets. So just be alert to that. So, fantastic. Everyone, is mentioning, yes, Bard's Reg. Hey, Chris is on our 6-month program. I think he did a great stream. I heard some great feedback from his stream just the other day. But so important to map who the people are moving. We know. Trump. He also will say, wears his heart on his sleeve, says what he wants, not really PC. And so, listen, we're doing some predictions here. Harris can still come and step in and change things, but just aware, what is possible? What can we expect from the presidency from a trading opportunity perspective, narrative opportunity perspective, speech perspective, and how you trade that and how you track someone's views who can move markets. Okay, and this is where the traders are real key. So just, again, just glancing across the risk screen, along with Eric and the team, it's been one of the most measured so far. Okay, touch wood, one of the most measured evenings of P&L performance. I hope I haven't jinxed it. Okay, so I've just jinxed all of it. But because, well, listen, we don't have a swing state yet, so it's still very, lots of things can still change. We got North Carolina now. More results are coming in. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I've we have approximately 13 minutes left. If you have any questions, you can throw the questions in. I think Mike's just keeping a close eye on the news wires to see if he sees, but we have North Carolina so far. It's around 51% to Trump at the moment. He was projected to win that at 51%. So let's just see how they go. Again, I wanted to bring up if you the U.S. elections, and let me see if I have. I'll actually have where's the U.S. election prep. So let me just bring up the important. Let's bring this up. Let me just share my screen again, and I'm going to. So if you signed up to Axia Futures. .com/election, you'll receive that. Apparently some people hadn't received it yet. Just send it email to the team if you've had some troubles. But over here, 128 paths to victory. Okay, so these are scenarios. So if Republican win all the swings, 100% chance of Trump winning. So these are all the permutations. Okay. So just keep an eye. So still a high chance of Harris winning if she loses Georgia and North Carolina and Arizona. Okay, so she still has a 98.6% chance if she loses North Carolina, Georgia, and Arizona, but she wins Michigan, Nevada, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Okay, so just have this now because this will still turn. So if we get North Carolina and Georgia released, yes, the odds will go even more in favor of Trump, but it don't mean it ain't over yet for Harris. Okay, it ain't over yet for Harris.
And just quickly, because I was watching the ladder as you were speaking, if you are interested, obviously, in watching the ladders, which again give you some key information about the volume, we just saw what we've seen in the last couple of months, or at least in 2024, quite a lot, which is a higher volume on some offer at rounded number. So this time it was 58.80. It was only 280 lots, but as soon as the market took it, we went up to 82. So it's kind of again price action. So maybe they're going to be one at 85. Maybe they're going to be one at 90 if we get there. But it kind of sometimes brings some almost a confidence for the market and kind of magnetic, and get those volume done. So as much as I'm aware that this is a specific price action because we're on election night, so it's not something you will see in a normal day. Now you see someone trying to chase with 115 lots on the bid and getting filled. And as soon as it's getting filled, you see there is a larger offer again coming back at 80 00, 5880.00. So this is sometimes again a kind of be helpful, and you might expect actually some stops to be triggered above that. So it's still thin, but it's quite interesting to watch if you're going to see. So this is the US. The US is the ladder just in the middle, and you see there is a slight larger offer. You see 190 lots on the offer, and it kind of changed also from watching obviously the candlesticks. All the traders are executing on ladders, and they gain information from this type of larger volume price action. The way we flip from bid to offer, it's
So Trump has just won Ohio and Missouri, all kind of all expected. Okay, so Trump's won Ohio and Missouri, is just announced. He wins Kansas as well. Okay, so Ohio, Missouri, and Kansas. Who was from Follow the Yellow Brick Road? Is that Kansas? I can't recall. So just someone wrote in about the Axia book. A couple of things. So it's been 3 years in the making, the Axia book. We actually have 2 books coming out next year. One of them will be released in the final week of March. It's in published. It's in the final. The book cover has just been completed. The design has been completed. It's the learning stories. It's the journey of our top 10 traders. It's going to be almost a thick Bible. Learning diagnosis in your game, an incredible read. Myself and the asymmetrist Bogdan, super excited about that book. And then we have another book being released a couple of months later, work that I'm doing with a gentleman called Angus Fletcher on creativity for traders. So keep an eye out for that. If you signed up, just again, because we'll be logging off just before the real action ends, but it's now approaching 5 a.m. in the morning, my side, and 3 and 4 a.m. respectively in London and the UK. So we wanted to let you know, if you wanted to watch next week some of the breakdowns of these of the actual trades from our traders on the desk of the election night, especially maybe once the battleground states are released, go on to axiafutures.com/election, and you'll be able to you'll then receive more information next week to view those trades that we'll be breaking down. So that's axiafutures.com/election. And if those of you who want to have a write down of from the perspective of on the floor, long form, the asymmetrist.com. So go have a look at asymmetrist.com. It'll also announce when the books are released. So subscribe, enter your email address over there. From my side, thank you for participating in today's session. And so wonderful to see people who are on our 6-week career program, who are on our blueprint 6-month program, just kicked off just this week, and anyone who's part of our community, it's been fantastic, receiving you here tonight. Hopefully, you've learned some lessons, from preparation, approach to an election night. Hopefully, it's just added to your ability, because if you've been here for 3 hours, it means you're serious about trading. You want to make a career out of this. It's a professional pursuit. It requires the best of you, and that's what's so great about this game, because it demands the best of you. It demands the best of your psychology. It demands the best of your ability to develop skill sets. And I love the game. I've been in it, for 20 years, along with Eric. Mike over here, he's learned so much in the years that he's been Axia, and just been amazing seeing his growth. Both as a person, as a trader. This game makes you look at yourself. And I want to thank Peter and the team, behind the scenes, Anderson and Craig, for executing, tonight's session. I was also especially thank to Peter here in Cyprus. So I want to thank all of you. We haven't received the battleground states yet, so hopefully we prepped you a little bit for trading those battleground states. If you've received the election prep, you'll hopefully be a little bit wiser. But and yes, the Tiger Rouge Dem is trading tonight. He is doing very well at the moment. Maybe we can break down his trade if he's recorded his screen tonight. I don't know. Yes. We'll see how many trades we can break down. So if you do sign up, but it's been an absolute pleasure from my side. I've been standing the whole time. I've got a standing desk to make sure my old back can sustain itself. But you can see all of us have had many years of screen time. We've all got our glasses on these days. So when I first met Eric, no glasses and all of that. But
this is when you got too many screens in front of you. Yeah, that's true.
Exactly. But those are my last words. I'll hand it over to Eric, who I've known for so long, and just been great to be with him and on this journey with Axia and developing our team, and Mike, who runs the show down in London. So thanks everyone.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Mike. I don't know if you have any closing words. I'll leave you guys.
No, just again, I think you said it all. Just I really, I felt it was a good stream. Again, I think and I hope, like Alex said, that you learn that again there is a fine line between improvisation and adjustments. And I think today was about adjustment. I don't think we were expected this kind of really technical, a very structured price action on all asset class, but it came as it was. So again, as much as we prep for something, there is no preconceived, no matter what type of trade. So again, fine line between improvisation, which is where we lost control, and adjustment. And again, I hope you enjoy as much as I did and the team did, and hope we do other, obviously, live trading floor. And again, the night may be only starting, so stay focused, obviously.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And just to answer that quick question there, we are using the Axia Delta One reader for our news, our proprietary news reader. So if you're curious about that, go ahead and click the axiafutures.com/election, and you can get more info on that. But thanks again, everybody, for having us. And it's been a pleasure to be here with Eric, Alex, guys that I used to sit in the same chair that you were all in, somewhere in the United States, looking at them thinking, wow, I really want to be doing this for the rest of my life and to make a career out of it. So very grateful to be here and making that come to fruition.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks,
Good
everyone.
night.
Everybody.
Thank you, Mike.
Really
Thanks, Mike.
good.
Cheers.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye, Eric. Thank you.